And we are live.
We're live.
Yep, we are. How is everybody doing?
How you going, Zibbo?
Just trying to. I don't know if anybody can scroll up to the top. It's again not letting me do what it's supposed to do, but is what it is for now.
Well, the most important people are here.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. How you doing, man?
Good. You?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Yep. Well, it's good to get the results. So.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And Thomas.
Hi guys, you're right.
Good.
Hey,
How you
Thomas.
doing,
Hey, Thomas.
Trying to spam the link here. It was way up at the top, but it's probably, it's pretty buried by now. That is what it is. It'll happen eventually. It'll let me do it. How's everybody's weekend going?
We're missing Blue Shirt.
Yeah.
He's busy he's busy with family at the moment. Just he's joining us later on, I think.
Hopefully he's doing okay. I think he's
just like to say hello to everyone. Clam Walker, Clive Watrangler, Orange Hand, Wesley Martin, Celine Driver, Renee Wells, welcome. All the regulars who aren't here as well. Smoke Eater, Chip Gage, Watch Habit, Chi-Town, California, Carlos, Mr. Perpetual, WV David R, Shine the Dark, Rooted Rosa, Geezer, Eric C. Pop, Turkey Vulture, Howdy from Texas, Brummy Jack, Longshoreman, Logan Hall, 73 Math, Deer Artifacts, Robert Padilla, Reed
That's one hell of a breath you're taking. That's good.
WR Watch Guy, Williams Watches, yeah, everyone.
Junior Johnson as well.
Junior Johnson, absolutely, all the regulars.
And we've got the rancher in the chat and ID guy.
Yeah, welcome everyone. And Clive, Joseph. Good to have you here, sir.
Smoke them if you got them.
That's the one.
Name says it all. Oh, what the hell am I doing here?
The defeated.
Yeah,
the defeated. Who's the defeated?
Yeah, I am. That was. I just lost it, huh? It just happened. It just broke me. The watch that broke me. It's official.
Is that the thumbnail which is on tonight's
Yes, it is. Yeah, it sure is. You assholes. But those are the prettier ones. That's the more modern version. The one that we saw was a deeper, more vintage inspired one, which was even more difficult to handle.
Did you get it? I actually spent the night and day feeling sorry for the punter that sent the photo in. It was terrible, actually.
I emailed him. I let me check if I actually got a reply back from him. I went quite deep and I said, it reflects so badly on me and what I try to do. I don't think Clive even knows the story. He was absent, or was he there?
No,
Clive would have been
babysitting
around the bottom of there somewhere, wouldn't you, Clive?
Well, I was kind of helping to help out. We're babysitting is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well,
so what happened? Okay, you've got my attention.
That was like 3 hours into the show. We were smooth sailing, and then we got a squaley on the show. And then
squaley.
And that's exactly how it started. The something fishy.
Ugliest watch you've ever seen in your life, Clive.
The something fishy just kept ringing in my head throughout the time, and I just lost it. I couldn't take it.
It was brought on by the fact that we all started trolling the watch.
Yeah, there were like 50 comments going on live. I think the nail in the coffin was Eric Bell, who was like a certified professional. He's been he's been diving all his life, and even he said, "What the hell is this?"
And I kind of Kurt, the pilot, said, "That's horrendous."
Oh, geez, I don't know what happened. I just couldn't take it, and then I had to somehow try and find composure, and it got even worse because it's trying to like recollect thoughts as well as it was a disaster. But it was good.
And then the Hugo comments.
Yeah, Yeah, and all the
You know,
rest.
I quite like TGV. So it wasn't about TGV.
It was just the culmination of everything over the years of
Hugo, TGV, Squaley.
all of it, and
Squaley's a terribly overrated watch anyway. I mean, price.
That's something fishy video. That's something. I've never been able to watch that video and not have a straight face.
Oh,
Every single time I watch it.
The comment at the very end where the guy who actually owns the watch said that's so you can view it on a certain angle. I just couldn't get my head around. Well, what happens when you view the watch on the other angle?
Yeah, yeah. So it was. I have sent him an email. I haven't gotten a reply back. I'm really sorry, Richard. Richard, if you are watching, Richard, then I'm truly sorry. That was just. I did mention at the very end of the email that your watch broke me. It's actually quite famous for that reason. I've never lost control like that before, and I think there's something wrong with me because now I'm just laughing at everything.
That's not what we normally do in the watch community. I mean, at the end of the day, we do support each other and. Yeah, you know, we all have different tastes. We like different things, and look. My daughters have been giving me a hard time all day about it, saying that you know it's not right because you know I've got some pieces that I love and other people don't love. It's like you know my wife loves the Tudor P01, and probably most people in the chat go, "That's a horrible watch." And you know we all have different tastes about different things. So really, it's not what we as people in this community. We don't do that. We don't bag other people's watches, and we went a bit overboard, and it wasn't right for the guy that sent the watch in. And you know, I'm as guilty as charged, probably more so than anybody here right now.
Yeah, but the worst thing of all is that Richard actually sent in a gorgeous Panerai a couple of weeks back. It was a Verde Militare, the olive green
one.
Yeah. And we gave that praise fully, so it was just bad timing, man. You know, 3 hours in, I was weak as it was, and then everything just piled up.
You lost it so badly, man.
I lost it badly. Yeah. I was struggling.
Mate, I was
crying.
I think you go back to the the Sainsbury cheap whiskey, man. That bullet stuff, you just cannot handle it.
No, clearly not. I was crying.
Were you drinking it out of the lid or out of a glass?
No, it was like a shot glass. I barely had any. That's the problem.
Well, that's the problem, mate. That stuff's like 101 proof or something.
Yeah, it's violent.
So
but it was a good time.
I guess the moral of the story is not to send you pictures of Jacob & Co. watches, I guess.
No.
My God, that's a good point, yes.
Hell, you know, and what else? Like Richard Mille, and it's the worst part was that whole... it's that something fishy video that everyone talks about. That was just nail in the coffin because that was just ringing in my head the whole time.
I think we should return to a Swatch week, ID guy, where we all send in pictures of homage watches, your beginnings.
Yeah, why not? Parnas full like 3 hours worth.
No, what was the other brand? The AP takeoffs.
What were they called?
Is it pronounced homage? I thought it was homo age all this time.
What was the name of that brand?
Where do you get the lines from, Clive? You just roll them off your tongue naturally.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of hostility from being on the live stream with the Minotaur for 4 years.
Yeah.
I've got too much hostility.
Anyway, we're deviating away from the subject. I'm the defeated. That's now, and from now on, we're going to use instead of saying foobar, we're going to say it's gone squaley or something.
Well, I'm James Squaley after it.
I can see that's a very attractive middle name. I don't know if that was done on purpose or if it was just complete chance.
Yeah, it was sort of done just you did say in the Discord earlier that you were going to take a stick to me. So
yeah,
I thought if I'm going to copy the stick, I'll wear the name.
Yeah, no, I'm the defeated. I raised my hand. I've gone in. I've edited the clip, so hopefully I can get all of that breakdown gone if possible because it just was wrong. It was so wrong.
And I've been. You don't know what it's like to live with females, and I've been copping it hard. So I actually feel like I need to write a letter or send a gift or something to the guy Richard or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think because it's one hand to complain about the trolls trolling you, and the next thing
you're one of them.
I was the leader of the pact.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is so first time here, really. But am I
Welcome,
to
Celine
conclude-
Driver. Yeah, welcome.
Yes,
Oh, thank
Celine,
you.
welcome. Welcome.
Maybe you've heard of my little channel, but
Yes, no, you're the zealous man,
yes, yes, I
and you
am.
love them.
They're brilliant watches.
They're
Yep, I'm
brilliant,
wearing one
absolutely.
right
Of course
now.
they are. Which one are you wearing?
Prototype of the ZX chronograph
Mhm.
with
Oh,
the
very nice,
never
very
made
nice.
it to production date window.
Day and date window. Okay, so they're using the
It never made it. It never made it to production, but it uses a Valjoux 7750. I got a video of it,
Nice.
Oh,
but that wasn't my question.
I've seen a number of your videos.
Huh?
I've watched a number of your videos.
Oh, thank you.
And
I hope
often
it didn't
seen
put you to sleep.
I've often spoken to you in the chats of Random Rob.
Oh, I love Random Rob.
I
He's been a
used
big
to
help.
go as founder of Timeless Capital.
But am I to conclude that the ownership of a TGV Squaley is a bad thing?
No, it wasn't a TGV Squaley. It was
No.
a vintage Squaley called a Tiger Automatic, and it was completely out of proportion. It had ID guy can probably better explain the design DNA than I can.
Because
it was-
I love that. I love that watch.
It was. I
No,
don't know what.
wasn't
It was just a
TGV
time.
one.
You can just
It was
imagine. I
the,
mean,
it was a diver called the Tiger Automatic. It was. I
Yeah.
think it was a vintage of some kind.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was.
And
It was from like the
had
70s.
Different. Half the watch had larger. I don't know. ID guy,
Indices.
you can explain. The
Yeah, basically
proportions.
half
It
the
was
dial
just
had-
completely off.
If you look at that Breitling on the screen, basically from the 9 o'clock until the 1 o'clock, the indices were 3 times the size of the
ID
ones
guy's still
underneath. Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Anyone?
I
can hear you.
I
Okay,
can hear you.
that's good. I think James
so
is.
the watch was completely off. It had.
I think James can't
was
hear
just- Had
No.
half the watch
yeah.
had larger.
I think Flippin, you'll have to write a
What's
sign.
it called? Somebody help me.
I can hear the both of you. James, can you hear ID?
Something
I don't think
came
James.
wrong with my
I don't
phone.
think. I don't think James can hear us at all. No.
No.
Jane,
Can you hear
Jane,
James?
take your audio off Archie mode. Jane.
Can you hear me, James?
We have to type it in the chat maybe for him to see. I don't know. Oh dear.
I think maybe if he drops off and comes back on again, he'll be able to hear us.
Well, the thing is also, if you're on a Mac, don't go on Safari. Come boot up.
Come on with Chrome, yeah.
Google Chrome, yeah.
I got
Yeah,
Firefox.
I'm on a Mac, but I'm using Firefox. It works fine.
Right.
I come back. I
Sweet,
think.
sweet. Can you hear us? No. Oh dear. Yeah. Well,
He
all I
may
can
have
say.
to restart his whole browser.
Yep.
Maybe you can give him the boot, and he'll be able to. If there's a link, you can put the link in the chat, or maybe he's not able to see it either.
Oh, I think he just left.
He's left,
gonna
okay.
reconnect.
Ah,
I
jeez.
love that. I love that Breitling that's on the screen there.
It's
That's
really slick,
gorgeous.
yeah.
I have 3 myself. I love Breitling. I really do. Well, 2 of them were Grail watches for me, and I got a hold of them.
Which ones were that?
I always wanted a Navitimer.
Yep.
That was the first Grail, and I found a Navitimer Twin 60, and did my research and found out that was a 1-year only production, so I grabbed it, and it runs beautifully. It's a really beautiful watch. And then I grabbed myself a Generation 1 Emergency.
Right.
That is based on the aerospace, and it came with full kit, and the videotape's never been unsealed, and the tester works, so it's like score,
Yeah.
I'll wear the hell out of that one. It makes a great daily driver watch. It really does.
Nice.
Once you get past that goofy bracelet.
Well,
I gotta say, Lexter, it's very cool that you're live streaming the watch running. I dig
Yeah,
that.
That's pretty
nice.
sick.
Well,
That's good,
it's all
Lester.
about the lighting, and it's so hard to get these things lit right.
Yep.
But I put it up because the squaley. If you're going to spend $1,000 on squaley, if you shop around, like this one, I got new Chrono 24. The dealer dropped it to $24.99. So
Yeah.
I just I grabbed it. It's like, I know the guys don't like it because of the number, the window, the date windows covering one of the numbers and the 9 o'clock. But you know what? So what?
Yeah, looks good. Really
And
good.
I like it.
it
I
came
like
with
the
a
Super Ocean.
came with a big heavy rubber strap, which I do not like. So, but the fitting is so tight, and I didn't know this, but there are curved pins you can buy.
Sweet.
And so you put it in there. So there's a slight curve, but you can get the NATO strap on the thing.
What's the diameter of that case?
It's 44 mil, and then it's got the caliber 17, and it's just a solid. I mean, $2,500.
It's a nice watch.
I jump on that in a New York minute.
Well, I shopped around and I went to retail, and they just would not come off the price, $5,500. And I thought, I knew it wasn't a popular watch, but I'll take it. And when I saw the price drop, I just jumped on it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just butt in, Lexter? Just while
Go ahead.
before my battery dies on my phone, I just want to show a couple of watches.
Go for it.
Yeah, here we go. Me and Flipping Zippo and I got a couple of watches this week.
Is it a blackout? There it is.
Oh, the collection.
Aragon is back. We've got the Aragon Hero watches here. These are $99, which are a great buy for a watch just to play about with. And these are 48 millimeters and 16 millimeters thick, 24 millimeter lugs, and they got a raised loom. You might be able to see. They got raised indices, 3D index, and they got a curved crystal. Green. Yeah, so this is a khaki green and got a 3R index. So they're on a sort of 60s, 70s sort of retro inspired case, and the watch head is sold separately, so it allows you to it's sort of a modular system. It's allows you to go with whatever sort of strap you want. So the bracelet's sold separately, the leather NATO sold separately, or the rubber strap is sold separately, and I got this lovely khaki green version.
That dial, that's so peculiar. It's like martini green, right? Apple martini.
Yeah, it's on a lovely green NATO strap, and I got this cream version, which is on a quick release leather strap as well, and they're using day and date functions as well. It's the Seiko NH36 movement, but I'll just put one on my wrist, and it's I just thought for $99 you can't really go wrong. Just sort of for a watch to play around with, just to mess around and get used to playing around with straps and changing straps around, and that's a wrist shot for that one. I just saw that they're a great little buy for just changing around with. And Zippo's got one on the rubber strap, I think.
Did you say that was a 48 millimeter case?
48 millimeters, yeah.
Good Lord, that's monstrous. Ankle bracelet for me.
You get used to it.
It actually wears
too big.
smaller than it looks.
It was smaller, like James says. It's not that big.
The lug's a lug.
Lug's important.
Yeah, the lug is.
And quickly, before my battery really goes, a book for the week is the Wristwatch Handbook. Now, this is a great book, mainly about movements
and longer
and actual movements and how watches work. So this isn't just about the cosmetic side of watches. This is actually about how movements work, and this is
It's a fantastic book.
A great book. Yeah, it's tells you everything about how the different ways time's displayed, and I'm just about to be cut off by my battery dying. So
where's the coaxial? We got to get the coaxial in. Where is it?
This is 350 pages of
Holy
good.
It's only recently published as well.
Goodness, absolute goodness in this book. It's
That is so slick.
highly recommended. But yeah, it goes through everything. All different sorts of watches had monopusher chronographs and dialers and yeah, or basically about how the movements work. I haven't really delved into it that much because I've only just got it, to be honest with you. But it's highly recommended. It's
it's really
brilliant book.
It's
Nice.
great book, really good book.
I mean, just for the pictures alone.
Well, the pictures, just the icing on the cake, but it's really the information it gives you about how watches
I just saw a watch that I have in there.
Pocket watches, and it really explains about how watches work and different types of watches, like jump hour movements and all sorts of different watches, and how the different movements work. Highly recommended.
I'd love to buy a pocket watch someday, but I don't know a thing about them.
That was my book of the week.
Yeah, hell of a good find. I like that.
Different novelty indications, how different watches show the time in different ways. And,
oh, that's a weird looking watch. Oh my god!
Well, guess what? Someone's wearing one of those watches right now in the show.
Really?
Yeah,
they are.
Yes,
it's crazy looking.
Now, which one's that last
Resonance watches. And
someone else has one of those too.
Parmigiani for Clive. There's a Parmigiani for Clive.
That one is the. That's the Val. That's the nicest Parmigiani they make.
Agreed.
Ramon,
I know somebody who's got that watch.
Invader. Joe Perigo there for James.
I haven't got that one.
That the slot machine.
No,
Yeah.
I like those Resonance watches that I've seen on videos by Watchbox, where they
review them.
Like 3 subdials rotating around a central axis.
Mm-hmm. And they have lungers in the front. They have lunger movement front and back, and I barely see any lungers in the book.
That's a Roger Dubuis movement on the front. But yeah, so that's my book of.
That's called a handbook, huh?
Yeah, it's a handbook, 350 pages, and they're calling it a handbook. It's pretty,
it's a coffee top
substantial.
Book.
Handbook.
I'll show mine here real quick if I can get it in there.
Nice.
Matte black dial. The indices raised up a good, 3/4 mil, and this thing glows like you wouldn't believe. It's great. The rubber strap on it. It's a beefy one. Like, it's a good sized watch. And this rubber strap, I barely feel it. It's great. It's going to be a knockaround watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're not your best wearers. They are beta watches, definitely, but they're just for $99. I can't see you going wrong, to be honest with you. Just for an introduction to playing about with watches,
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to switch to my computer here. I'll be a second.
That is very slick.
That's lovely. That's lovely, Celine.
Mm-hmm. Nice pushers on that one.
I chased this one for 6 months.
Wow.
When Elshin put that up for sale in one of his clearances, I was asleep. I gave him an earful for that one. How dare you do this to me? No. crap like that. But I chased it. I think I'm the third owner now, and it ain't going anywhere.
Ooh, it's a Hoya.
Good
I hear
eye.
myself.
Very nice.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice syringe hands.
Vintage.
Silver dial, white dial.
Well, actually, with Tina, who knows?
Oh,
But
It's very nice.
It's steel. It's referred to as a Hoyer Big Eyes,
Nice.
and it was made from 1936 to 1946.
Does
Most
it
of
have a
them are
telemeter scale? Looks like it does.
38 millimeters, so it's oversized.
Hmm.
And actually, it's the one I'm using as the avatar right now, also with the Value 22 movement in it.
Wow.
and it runs.
Oh yeah, that's interesting movement. They almost used this movement from literally 1970 to 1917 to 1972, which I think is interesting.
Oh,
That's amazing.
So that's a Hoyer, is it, Clive?
Yes.
Nice.
The
I don't have
originals.
anything that old.
How long you had that for, Clive?
Huh?
How long you had that for?
Oh gosh, couple of years, 2 or 3 years, 4. You lose track after a while.
Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful
That's
watch.
Junior.
Hello.
Hello,
hey, dude, Junior.
Hey,
Yeah,
Junior.
Can you hear me?
We
Yes,
can.
can.
Yep, we
Okay,
can.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, sure.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
How's your
Must be
day
a
going,
NASCAR.
mate?
so actually, so I was kind of going through. I was kind of looking just to see what they're out there. Because 4 years, everyone wants the Octavia, everyone wants the Carrera. So I think there's some bargains out there on the earlier ones. But I was trying to look for it, Hoyer Big Eyes, and go through. And once you basically stay still case instead of gold or gold plated or two tone, there's one guy in Italy that thinks his is worth $11,000.
Wow.
It's like I'll have what he's drinking.
You know, that movement is also known as that's also the Rolex 14, used in their very early dress type chronographs. So same movement.
Well, and so many brands outsourced so many parts compared to what they do today before the whole in-house movement marketing BS started. So I've also got a couple of like 50s Movados that have a lot in similarity with equivalent pieces by Patek Philippe. I've got like
Interesting.
I've got an oversized steel Movado military dial that is swoon worthy.
Wow.
Very slick.
I like those Movados.
I've got a couple of 50s. I actually think vintage Movado is going to really start jumping up in price. And here's
Really?
my now, because literally everything else has already.
I've seen some Movados advertised a lot of late as well in the vintage world.
When did Movado start taking a dive?
I don't know. I mean, I always kind of thought after, the museum watch captured everyone's attention, then after that, they almost started trying to do style of the week.
Okay. So that's
NS something might have something significant contribute on that question.
because they were quite legitimate for a long time. And I don't know much about them other than the museum watch is the only one that I know of from them.
Well, I think it's like a lot of watches, right? And once you get to the 80s, you either reinvent yourself as a super high luxury watch company or, you start making cheap watches. So I kind of think that's what they did after the 80s. That's when they were purchased by that American company that whatever it was called, North American Watch Company or something. So I think at some point their market shrank, and a lot of these companies just had to make a choice where they were going. So
I'm going to, real quick, I'm going to try to stick this Hoyer right by the microphone and try to wind it.
Well, that sounds super smooth.
Orange Hand saying he's looking at vintage Hoyer Ortavia Viceroys now, and the prices have come down recently.
Nice.
Nice. What's nice winding it, it has such a vintage clicky feel to it. I love that. It's almost like winding the old alarm clock with the key on top. Click, click, click when you move it.
Like winding a Hodinkee travel clock? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes.
Don't insult my foyer that way.
Hey, Rancher, are you the same guy that has been on Watch Lounge several times?
Yeah, actually.
Okay, I thought I recognized the voice.
There's another channel, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. So, Selena, tell us a bit about your collecting strategy. What do you have in the watch box?
Well, first of all, I have too many.
That we all.
Let's see. Right now, I have a varied collection. It's dominated by Zelos, as you can imagine. I'm standing at 29 right now.
29 watches, wow.
29 Zeros or 29 watches?
29 Zelos.
Oh wow!
That's what I've already said.
I have everything from. I do have my one and only G-Shock Square. It's one of the Tron series. I sort of talked myself into that. I've got some watches that I've inherited from my still alive father. He basically gets tired of them, or he needs winder space, or he decides that it's time for me to have one, and he's bequeathed me many very interesting watches.
Nice.
Some Rolex, some Ulysses Nardines, one of whom is a major problem child. It literally stops 4 times a day.
Service.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to cost me about $2,500 to service it, and I have about 14 different things ahead of it that I need to do, including finishing my younger daughter's college education.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
she's the priority.
Yeah,
absolutely. I've got some great Tudors, a couple of Omegas that I dearly love, but my big love is the Zelos. I love them. I'm probably tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm going to order number 30.
What's the pinnacle of your collection, and what do you prize most out of all of them?
Believe it or not, my most prized watch. I even have 2 squaleys, but my most prized watch is the first watch my dad gave me.
Don't you dare, Clive.
You don't have a tiger, do you?
I'm sorry?
You don't have a tiger squally, do you?
Lion shark.
No. I have one lion shark, and I have one of the 1521, the blue ones, the gorgeous blue one.
The Azzurro.
Yeah.
On the brown band.
No, I changed it to a black collareb. I love collareb straps. I love the way they come out of the package, smelling gorgeous, and they're nice and soft. And I love the fact that he ships them in for 13 euros. I get them in 3 days, and But my most prized watch right now is the first Rolex. Actually, the first watch my dad ever gave me. It was a GMT Master Pepsi.
Ooh, nice.
Very nice.
I changed it to a Coke bezel because I like the Coke a little better, but I still have the original bezel. But it wasn't working, and he's always a busy. I mean, even at his age now, he's a very busy guy, and he doesn't have time to screw around with a lot of things. So he handed it to me and said, "Look, this doesn't work. I've already replaced it with another watch. If you get it working, it's yours. Enjoy it."
What is it, a 1680 or?
I have the paperwork somewhere. I know it's a 90s vintage watch, so I think it is a 1680. It works beautifully. It's somewhere along the line somebody put a non-Rolex crystal on it, and that's what kind of was screwing with everything. It didn't fit right, and it didn't run right, and I got it serviced, and it runs beautifully. But that watch is special because it's the first watch my dad gave me. Absolutely. And I love my dad. He's he's my hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's a keeper forever.
Yeah, and it's a connection to my dad, even though he's still alive. He is still alive, and I'm glad he's still alive. But that's a watch I'll keep forever.
Sorry, if I could point out one quick thing, I swear to God that was not me screwing around on the R2 soundboard. I'm reading live stream comments. It's like, okay, I totally get where you guys are coming from, but this time, honestly, really,
it kind of makes sense, all things considered.
Yeah, but my collection is I've got watches from all over the spectrum. I love them all. I've got to sell a few of them. I know I got to sell a few of them. I'm thinking the 4 watches from the Aliens movie have got to go.
Oh, really? You've got the Giugiaro Fruit Smart, have you? The Ripley.
Yeah, I got the Giugiaro Ripley. I've got the Bishop. I've got the Burke, and I've got the Space Marine.
Wow.
But I never wear them, and they're just sitting there. In fact, I think the Burke needs a battery.
Are they
they gotta go.
Are they?
Pardon?
Are they G-Shocks?
No, they're Seikos.
Oh, they're Seikos.
Giugiaros, yeah.
Yeah, those can sometimes go for a lot on eBay. So
I'm not selling on eBay. eBay is I'll buy on eBay, but I'm not selling on eBay.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Lexter? I mean, I was meant to ask you last week. What's in your collection? What do you have in the watch box?
Who?
Lexter Dexter.
Oh, I varied. I got a couple Rolexes, Omega, Hamilton, and now that I found this community, I think I'll just start putting one watch up a week or something.
That's awesome. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, lovely.
And then I got some. I got into G-Shock. But sapphire crystal. I got MTG and a Mr. G, that kind of thing, and they're really awesome, I think. But I'll put a few of those up, and then I got some Seikos for the gym, and turtles, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more thing, real quick. One more thing. All my watches are individually videoed as reviews and unboxings and that sort of thing on my channel. So, and I'm going to be doing a state of the collection pretty soon. But if you want to see them, they're on my channel.
Head over to Saline Driver channel.
Yeah, subscribe up. Throw questions at me. I love to talk about my watches.
Keep the community going. That's the way forward, isn't it, Celine?
Well, that's how I found Flippin' Zippo.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about.
And Rancher.
Building this community.
Yeah.
So, NS something. Did you have some news lined up, or do you want me to go ahead with my watch?
I put up some news links in the private chat. So if Flippin' Zippo can...
I've got a GoFundMe page there and to show everybody as well for the ID guy.
I can't believe you're doing this, James.
Zippo has already made the first contribution.
It better be a good one. That's what I'm saying. Has to be top notch. And we need to engrave it. Yeah.
It's going to say...
They're defeated.
Just say hello to Mr. Valju. Welcome, Paul.
Yeah, welcome.
Valju, hello. Feel free to come on. We all know what you've got hiding in the background there.
Oh yeah, you got a nice little watch hiding, haven't you? You want to show us?
I saw Datograph a couple of times. Am I reading something wrong?
No, you're not.
It's the only lung I've ever handled, and I can tell you, whew, it's a gem.
So the first link I put up, I just wanted to congratulate Houdinki on reporting on the news a week later.
Copying us. Yeah.
It's literally this is exactly what that is. Are they watching our show?
Yeah.
Are you secretly a journalist for them? Are you?
Yes.
NS?
No. I think Houdinki's made it. They've made the big time now. They're like basically Time Magazine, so you pick up Time Magazine and you see news from 2 weeks ago. So they've made.
We looked at every single one of these watches last week. Every single one.
Well, but if you scroll down, it's actually uncanny. So
you are kidding me.
It's
It is too.
Don't tell me you got AP divers in there too.
No, but they covered a lot of it. So if you go down, you'll even see the Nomos and.
You've given away your other job, because you must have written this article. Oh, there's the doc stars.
They got the Nomoses just now. The Nomoses are just that's when we were capping it off at the very end.
Yes. They even got the same sequence that we did.
I cannot bloody believe it. And this is when I dropped the F-bomb last week. That's how bad it got.
ID guy.
Yeah, it's not good.
And now we're going to see the Carl Butchers, aren't we, next?
Yeah, no, they didn't go that far, but but they did go with the Breitling.
The Breitling.
So
you cannot believe it, huh?
They didn't want to embarrass themselves to say that they had the Carls at 10K a piece.
Yeah, they might be stalking ID guy. We never know. So
it could be.
Yes. So
you never know, right?
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was funny to.
Oh jeez! There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, now
I have got them.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe when I saw the article, I don't know if I missed it. Either that or they added it before. After.
Come on, NS, you're twilighting. Let's
there's clearly something going on here.
What's the name for the guy who wrote the article? Let's expose NS now.
Jack Forster.
You're Jack Forster. No wonder he's so knowledgeable on watches.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting. So, yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, vote. Who would wear that?
I would. What the hell? Life's short. Just do it.
Elton
My
John.
wife says that she'd divorce me if I ever had that on my wrist.
Elton John. That's
I mean, I would wear it on the way to the gray dealer who's going to buy it off of me for a lot of money.
For 300K, yeah.
It's too much.
Well done, Hideki.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you had to choose that or the Squaley, what would you choose?
I would most definitely take the Daytona any day. I'd rather go without a watch. Elton John actually has one, Giza says. Wow.
I know. Oh, there's quite a few people. I mean, producer Michael has a couple of them. He bought 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that Lexter has a second link open.
No, I don't. No.
Really?
No, it's somebody else.
So all jokes aside, the next link that I posted there, I think it's a release from MB&F this week, which I thought was very interesting. It's their kind of normal legacy machines, but they're hand engraved by Eddie Jacquet. And they're basically, I think it's 8 scenes from different Jules Verne books. And it's really, really nicely engraved. And they only made 8. It's really cool. I mean, it's maybe a little bit ornate, so it might not be everybody's taste.
No, it's really cool. I read this article.
Yep.
Now, when did Max leave Harry Winston and form MB&F?
That's a good question. I'm not sure on the timing. But that would be probably a little bit after your watch was made.
Or was it after Swatch bought them out? Yeah, I kind of noticed parallels to what he was doing with Harry Winston and what he's doing with his own company now. I was kind of wondering if Swatch came along and basically killed the party. And
it was around that time.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, Max. That's the really cool thing about Max is that he's always been all about the collaborations and being brutally honest about who he collaborates with and who does what in his watches. I mean, you know, if you go to the MB&F website, you'll see.
Now, if Max is a good collaborationist, is he Swiss or is he French?
That's
I'm glad I found this. I'm glad I found this live chat.
What?
Clive is always on the ball.
Yes,
because he's already got the answer sitting in front of him on Google, haven't you, Clive?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
No.
yes. Clive is showing his age. You know, he's still living in
I
that
don't
era.
believe it. We have a thunderstorm going on outside. Unbelievable.
Clive's only a young'un, aren't you, Clive?
Well, it depends what you mean by younger. I mean, I'm younger than Bill Sanders.
I thought you were my age.
What is your age?
Late 40s.
No, early 50s.
You guys are kids.
Oh, hell, I'm older than that.
So am I.
Now
I think there's
I'm really gonna. Now I need to be
55
resuscitated. Was that ID guy that said that, so is he?
Yeah.
Geezer's
I
saying he
guess you were
thinks,
after
getting up there.
yesterday's live stream.
Geezer's saying he thinks that Max Booster left Harry Winston in mid-2000s.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I thought it was about 2006.
Yep.
Those engravings are incredible. 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Good.
Dive watch.
You know, it's a really cool series, and so it's interesting because it's the legacy machines, and the part of the design of the legacy machine movements are by Kari Voutilainen, and Eddie Jacquet actually did some engraving on dials for Kari Voutilainen, so there's another connection there as well. So.
What's the price tag on these, NS?
Ooh, it's
A decent house.
yeah, it's are we comparing to houses again? It's
Depends where you live.
It's $162,000 US. So
US.
but they're sold out already, so that's why I'm not getting one. Obviously, not because of the price tag. So, yeah, it happens with some of these special editions where they're kind of almost pre-sold.
But they're not. That doesn't mean they're actually not available because I mean the ADs basically commit to them and then they have to find a buyer.
Yep.
My AD in Paris has committed to some of these.
Cool. Well, you should get one.
I'm not sure if I'm prepared to shell out that sort of money for this.
It's interesting. I wonder what the aftermarket price on these is going to be, because they're rare, but they do tend to lose a bit of money even beyond the standard discount you'd get. So it'll be interesting to see where these go, especially in these times.
Well, that's how I buy.
Yeah.
I wait for them to hit. I wait for these sort of things to hit the grey market dealers like Roman Schaff and a few other guys that I know, and then the guys who get sick of them or have had them sitting in boxes and never worn them and need to cash up because they've got financial problems. That's how I tend to buy things. So unless it's like a 1 in 10 piece or a 1 in 20 piece, and I really have to have it, I don't tend to buy it otherwise. unless it's GP or something like that. And these things will come around like everything else does, as we all know.
Mhm.
Clive would be the expert at this, wouldn't you, Clive?
Well, I certainly haven't seen anything like this here in the flyover states, especially a nautically themed one. Believe it or not, we are America's frontier lake state, but we're not that big on nautical themes. I don't know why.
I mean, basically, you go to the shows in Hong Kong. You basically can get. I mean, a lot of guys, especially the guys I've got a place in LA, and you see a lot of stuff come through Beverly Hills that has never been worn. There's a couple of jewels there you get the call from, and they buy it the same day as they flip it to you. So,
what's really nice about a watch like this, though? Most watches, if you really stick it under a loop and start closely examining it, you start seeing the flaws.
Yeah.
But watches like this, when you do that, you start seeing more of the intricacies. You realize there's more detail there than
there's stitching on that jacket.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, they're stitching on that jacket, and he's got his college tie pin.
Still a lot of money for a watch, which is
does that not have?
I'm a fan of MB&F, and but yeah.
Well, don't worry.
A few watches ahead of this that I would put my money into.
Well,
my watch budget's blown for the year.
Yeah.
But in a couple of, I think not the last link, but in a couple of links, I have one that will make this watch look cheap. So.
Okay, looking forward to that then.
And that's something always delivers.
Yes. So the next watch actually is not very expensive, but it is a limited edition. It's a Russian watch, a Raketa.
Wow.
And it's a watch with a art dial design. So the Big Zero Malevich. So I thought it was cool because there's been a lot of like blackout style watches, right? And yep. So it's modeled after a famous
doing your
artist.
head, isn't it, ID guy?
Wow, it's kind of trippy.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, time's irrelevant, right? It's just it's just a thing.
So the dial. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Is there more shots of it? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, if you go down, the dial is actually built as a mosaic, so it's actually interesting.
That's sick. I like that idea.
That is a really good find.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Why aren't the hands white? I have to ask. Is that just because they don't want to break up the lines of the actual square in the center? I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think so. It's modeled after that particular artist's works.
Okay.
So it's a mosaic. It's really it's a Raketa, right? So it's never going to be very expensive. But for a special edition, it's I think 1,200 euros. So it's
nice idea.
It's a cool piece.
That's very cool.
How often can you say that you have a mosaic dial?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. I like different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are
the materials in here?
28
more than one design, or just one design?
I think so. It's one design.
Jade, white jade, and violin.
And it's one of their movements. It's a Raketa. It's one of their in-house movements. I don't think it's going to be anything that anything to write home about. But it's probably
Moza meets Picasso. Mr. Velge says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be a topic of conversation, a talking piece, which is always good to have a talking piece on your wrist, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I do like the idea that they're using proper natural materials on the dial too. It's not faux stone or faux anything. It's good.
Yeah, at that price, you'd expect something to be painted,
Yeah.
right, or something like
True.
that. But yeah, black jade, white jade, violine. Yep, very interesting.
That was a great find. 1,200 euros. Jeez.
I thought it would be much more than that. Honestly,
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me it's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth having in the collection.
Yep. The next one is that I posted is I figured we'd see another dial. It's a special edition fashion Chopin LUC. So
I do like these watches.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep. So that one is kind of a collaboration, I guess, with the
Houndstooth.
Mm-hmm.
I read about this, I think.
Yep. It's a cool watch. It's their standard micro rotor watch, but they have a so what they did, if you look at the back, the movement is not PVD coated or anything like that. They just put in a tinted sapphire case back. So it's their standard micro rotor movement, but to follow the PVD coating of the watch, they tinted the sapphire. So
okay, that's pretty good.
Yep.
It's a nice movement.
They make some very pretty watches. I'm just checking them out on Chrono 24. They're very slick.
Problem with this brand is it just doesn't hold its value. I mean, my daughter picked up from Miami a shop I had just recently for just like $2.5 grand, which is a $12,000 watch.
Yeah,
crazy.
the LUC ones have really nice movements, but you should still be bargaining hard.
How is it possible? I'm looking at an 18-karat white gold, 37 millimeter for $3.5 grand US pounds.
All day long. The problem is that you pick up NOS stock on these things, and they're just like beautiful watches. They really are truly beautiful watches, but they have no resale.
Mm-hmm. They even made with that same micro rotor movement, they made a sports watch line. They're not the most beautiful watches, but sports watch, full bracelet for
the Alpine Eagle is called, no? Or is this another one?
No, it's another one. And it's just they're more like kind of diving watches style.
Yeah, another one you're referring to.
And they just go for like you'll see them on Chrono 24 for like, I don't know, 40% of MSRP, and you should still be trying to get it for half of that. It's crazy how much they lose value.
Amazing.
But they're cool watches.
Yeah,
I'm having a good browse.
My daughter's AD in Miami. He's got heaps of these things, and like you can just get them for virtually nothing. And she buys most of her watches off him, and there's no resale value in them.
Oh wow! I'm having a look at one now. One of these diver pieces, 2.5, not even 2,200. That is insane.
And they're great watches. They really are.
Good. I mean, it looks like a 50 fathoms. That's crazy.
And the packaging, everything about them, and they're solid. They're just a beautiful watch.
I mean, look, it's Chopin, right? It's a solid brand. It's just their watches don't do great.
Is Clive listening to all of this? I think Clive needs to start investigating here.
He probably already knows about it. He's probably got a stash of them in his vault already.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, look, the problem with this brand is if the watches aren't selling, no one's being buried with them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well, and look, Chopin does on the other extreme of watches, right? Chopin does own, they've restarted Ferdinand Berthoud, right? And those watches are so far holding a lot more value than the normal Chopin. So they do make some pretty cool stuff as a brand, but yeah, they're Definitely it's not something I would walk in and buy MSRP. But if you are looking for really cool dress watch and you want to save a lot of money, usually the LUC line will be a good buy if you buy it used. So
now, when you buy one at MSRP, does it at least come with a prostate exam or not?
I don't think so.
You have to buy them dinner first, Clive.
Look, I look.
You're not
Nobody's
even
buying
buying these things used. You're buying them fully tagged and boxed still.
Yeah, and look, nobody's buying those at full MSRP, right? If you go into the boutique, you're probably being offered at least 30%, I would assume. But yeah, the ones you see used for like, crazy prices, they're basically new. The box has never been opened.
They're
they
tagged.
Yep.
They might not have the warranty still, but let's face it, it's a brand new watch, hasn't been used. What can go wrong? You can't service them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got enough watches in your collection, you're doing a rotation on a regular basis. If you're wearing a Seiko one day or a Casio, or you're wearing your Rolex, or whatever, you're not going to have problems with your watches, are you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep.
Junior Johnson, no worries. Feel free to come back, man.
Yeah, no problem, Junior.
Yeah. The next watch I posted is the one that's going to make the MB&F look cheap. So we can take a look at it. It's
not Richard Mille. Can't be Richard Mille. Oh
yes.
No, not the tennis racket. Not the tennis racket strings. Oh no. I'm gonna throw up.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yes. So that's the new
come on.
Rafael Nadal watch. Look, I thought I'd talk about this one because there's one thing I like about Richard Mille watches. I really, really like the ones that are like almost transparent, right? That you see through.
Yeah, true.
Very minimalist. Of course, this one with the tennis strings that kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
But I thought also this one is really, Richard Mille has started really fully embracing kind of like the aftermarket price on some of their watches that, like the early ones that weren't selling for that much, but on the gray market, they go for crazy prices. And this one, the MSRP price is approximately $1 million. So I thought,
oh, cool.
What?
They're embracing it. And the article does.
I can see this. I can see this. I can see this on James's wrist. This is. We should call James RM as a middle name. No more Squaley. I think RM is a middle name. This is your watch, James.
If I ever invest $1 million in something like this, please take me out the pasture and shoot me in the head with a block.
Sure thing.
But I thought what was really interesting about this article, Flippin', if you go to the bottom, right, and you look at the pricing,
that's pretty cool.
They do mention approximately $1 million. Go down, excluding taxes. Go up.
Strap.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Very last line of that description.
Yeah, the very last line.
A little bit lower down.
Yeah, they do say excluding taxes, right? So.
And there's no discount of them, of course.
No.
Yeah, it's like when you go on Chrono 24 and you see somebody selling a like a Rolex Pepsi for $35,000 plus $100 shipping, right? It's kind of the same thing. It's like at that point.
If you go back up to the top again, Flippin', there's a really nice detail that I've noticed. I don't know if it's the case, if that's actually the reason. To the very top picture that was the beginning of the article. In the top left-hand corner of the piece that I saw, I don't know if this is right, top left-hand corner, you see what looks to be, by the 11 o'clock position, it looks like a vibration damper that you would have on your strings. Quite an interesting little feature there. I don't know if that's what it was there for or not. If anyone plays tennis, you might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But is it actually on the string?
No, it's underneath it by the looks of things. But I don't know. That's sort of look.
But
you can't honestly tell me you can play tennis with this watch. This watch is too fragile to be playing tennis with, and There's just no way they can play tennis with this watch.
Well, it's
those are the kind of watches where I see them and I want to walk up to somebody like that and say to them, "If you hate your money that much, here's my PayPal account."
Yeah, exactly.
Good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really hate your money that much, I'll take it and I'll do wonderful things with it.
I mean, the case to me, what I love, the Richard Milles that I love are the ones in titanium and all those interesting metals, you know? You get a nice bit of vibrance to the way the case is cut, but this looks like it's been 3D printed. I mean, it's just so basic. It looks like a plug you would put into a wall.
But they're all pretty much looking like that, even with the new plastics they're using and the dyes and inks that they're mixing, the blue ones and that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a business partner who's got the new blue one, which has got the plastics in it and everything. He paid a lot of money for it, and he loves it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Well, say what you will, but Richard Mille is very good at marketing, right? So as soon as somebody's doing like the football season opens, players wearing it during the Tour de France, magically as Julien Lafilippe started winning a few stages, he had one on his wrist, and he was biking
Sneaky.
with it, right? So they're good at marketing.
Well,
But
beautiful.
how do they go from being, 130, 150 grand to being $1 million? I mean, there's nothing from a horology point of view that justifies it. There's not precious metal involved here. There's just no reason for it. I mean, my wife got one, I don't know how many years ago. She got the skull, and there's just no reason for it. My daughter got one last year, which she nicked. She didn't like it. She sold it for more than she paid for it. But like, it's like putting a Swatch on your wrist.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I think the answer to that is because they can, right? It's one of those things where it's a definition of a hype watch, and it's working for them. Will it work for them forever?
It's a definition of rich people saying they can have what they want.
Yeah, it's a watch to flex with, isn't it? It's to say, look, I've got an expensive watch and I've spent a lot of money, and
it's a cartoon watch.
The creative in me likes the idea of this prototype development machine with all these experimental plastics and composites and materials. But otherwise, I mean, as a watch wearer, as a watch enthusiast,
some of their watches, like some of their chronographs, have had really nice movements in them, right? Like they've had some of those the movements made by AP, right? That makes the AP concept ones. They've had cool movements, but I think you do, and like this one is like the Bubba Watson, right? With the movement, it's suspended with those.
That was really
cables.
nice. I think of all of them, that's one of the most appealing that they make.
Yeah, it's really cool, but really once you get beyond that shock absorption mechanism, right? The rest of the watch is kind of very normal. So I don't know. It's look. But
I've picked up some of the Hublet and the AP concept watches on the grey market, and they do not hold the value of the retail. In fact, they lose 60-70% the concept watches.
Ouch.
And they have more functionality. They're better to wear. They look better than the Richard Mille.
I just look at that. I'm sorry.
The Hublet concept watch can actually set it to give you an hour back in your day, and then times your day so it catches up for you. I mean, that's the AP concept watches are good too, but none of them hold their value.
Well, what I don't understand is if somebody is spending RM money to impress. I mean, looking at that watch, if I'm a non-watch person, it doesn't look all that impressive to me compared to, some of the bling masters that are out there from Rolex and others.
Yeah,
And
but
if I'm a watch guy, I'm impressed by the fact that you dumped a lot of money on a technically sophisticated watch, but I'm still kind of thinking I'm still laughing a little bit because you bought a hype watch.
well, but
So I don't
it's-
understand what RM is supposed to do for you. It doesn't look impressive enough to a non-watch person, and to a watch person, you look like you look like a fool.
But
my
for
opinion.
the people that this is supposed to impress, right, will be impressed by this. It's the same as you'll have people that are going to buy some champagne brands that are overpriced, right, when they could be getting a really good champagne, but it's the champagne brand that people sing about and talk about, so it'll impress people. You're not going to impress a wine connoisseur. You're not going to impress somebody who's really into champagne. It's meant to impress a certain segment of the population. And I think at that it's going to work. So
I guess you're right.
It's funny how we
don't know any different.
Yeah.
It's funny how we give a brand like Rolex so much stick for their hype watches, but you look at just a stainless steel compared to this, and you think, wow, it's a much prettier machine.
Well, it's great that you bring that up, right? Because how many people buy how many people buy a gold sub to impress people when really it's a sub, right? It's a relatively simple watch with a relatively simple movement. And it's cased in gold, right? That's it. And it's not really rare. It's not like the biggest captains of industry and Nobel Peace Prize winners have worn a gold sub, right? To me, I associate a gold sub more with somebody who's going to try to get me to pay for 72 months for a 95 Civic, but some people buy it. So
God, how many Moses are more impressive than this watch? How many GFs?
We'll be here all day talking about and Laurent Ferrier and every other brand. JLCs can't even start.
I mean, it's just how many watches under $100,000?
If you didn't know anything about your wrist, if you didn't know anything about watches, you think this was made by seniors in high school at the very end of their 3D printing process.
Yeah, this feels like out of the 90s.
Exactly
This feels like a sweets dispenser. You have those digital watches that dispense sweets on your wrist. That's what this looks like.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I really hate to put down watches, right? I like all watches, and I do like some RMs, like the Bubba Watson. But if we're gonna talk like that, to be honest, some of these watches look a lot like a lot of Kickstarter watches, right? Yeah. So it's
and the tennis strings are just out of order. I mean, that's just that's when you just go too far. It's just
it's real fashion novelty. That is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think my father puts it being cute for the sake of being cute.
Yep.
But the strap
or
has
a
no
solution looking for a
synergy to wrap
problem.
The synergy there's no synergy with the strap. The orange on the crown. I mean, there's just nothing that matches.
They do have some pretty good models in the Nadal line. That the orange, the bullhead styled movement that they had built around it.
The older ones. This one feels a lot like they just wanted to come out with a new one.
Yeah.
So was there anything else after this then?
Yeah, there's two more, so we might as well move along. I think we've talked about this one.
Done this to death, haven't we? Yeah.
So two quick ones, then we don't have to spend a lot of time. But the next one I thought was interesting. I know this is also not going to be a lot of people's cup of tea, but it's interesting because this is a watch that Omega's released watches with this sort of metal scheme before with the three metals.
Set of gold,
Yeah, so gold.
I like that.
So this one is gold, titanium, and tantalum.
Tantalum,
So I thought it was really cool.
It's very unique and different. I like it.
I'm editing a video all about diving chronographs. The title is WTF are diving chronographs, and going into the deal around them.
I can't get diving chronographs, to be honest with you. I understand that there were as utilitarian sort of watch. There's a use for them, or there was a use for them before diving computers, but I just don't get I can't get the cosmetic look of a
This is what I wanted to try and dig into.
A diver mixed with a chronograph.
Very good point.
Cosmetically, I can't get my head around it really.
But if you,
I agree with Thomas 100%. Because let's face it, we're desk divers these days.
Yeah.
and
I have a diving chronograph. It's beautiful. It's a Zelos hammerhead diver chrono. It's fantastic.
There are some beautiful
But
ones.
I understand what you're saying.
My interpretation is looking at it creatively. It's how do they manage to address the dial with all of that detail, as well as having the bezel? How do they make it both legible and functional as a chronograph that you can read? And you look at how different brands are attacking it, like Zinn. I think they've got an EZM model. Lots of brands, Seiko's, Breitlings, Oris's. There's so many names. As, of course, the Seamaster. I really dig this new generation.
So if you look at diving chronographs, what you're going to find interesting is that there's a certain YouTuber we're not going to name that has claimed about 1,000 times at least that there's only one chronograph with pushers that are screw down. So if you go through them, you'll find that actually there are thousands of diving chronographs with pushers.
There's so many of them.
Give me a second, I'll pull one out. Chronograph with screw down pushers.
I've got at least 2 or 3 in my collection right now.
Yep. So I thought
that YouTuber wasn't me, was it?
No. It's a YouTuber that
just checking.
It's a YouTuber that Clyde likes to babysit a couple of times a week.
I wouldn't know who that was. Does he have 2 names?
No.
He's supposedly a character actor, supposedly.
Yes, he has 2 names.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I thought you take a look at that. And then the last one that I posted did not.
Before you go on, I can't get my head around with him. I love Amiga, but I just can't get my head around the sword hands with the
they're a bit
skeletonized ones. Yeah,
the skeletonized ones.
I handled a 2254 last. 2254 is that MOD inspired model with a solid sword hands, and it's such a cool watch. I don't know why
love
they
the solid sword hands, but I don't understand why they keep doing the skeletonized ones.
I'm with you, James. If only they filled them with loom or something. If only they filled them with loom, and
it looks like
they were
half
solid.
measure, half design, like they're skimping.
Oh, there you go.
So I completely agree with you guys on the skeletonized sword hands. But I do have to say that, it's a nice Zenith. I do have to say that I like the skeletonized hands on a chronograph because it is helpful. You can see the subdials more.
I
but
see.
on a normal diver, they could be all loom.
I guess for me, I never used the chrono function really. So.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. If you got a chronograph or a GMT, the skeletonized hands do come in useful, but otherwise.
But on the standard diver, they're not really necessary.
Okay, but while we're at it, let's do the opposite. Oh my God, the Black Bay chronograph screw Tudor. I mean, seriously, what the hell were you guys thinking?
So we're going to talk about snowflake hands again, right? That's where we're going.
Sick and tired of them, man. I'm the same. I feel the same way.
So before we go and talk for 45 minutes about snowflake hands, just the last link I posted, I thought was interesting just to take a look at it because it didn't really get a lot of fanfare when it got released. But Swatch recently, if you're a fan of Swatch, they re-released their 1983 collection, which was the original collection of the brand, right? That's the first year they came out with it. And they re-released that.
Very cool collection as well.
There's another watch that we haven't spoken about in something that I don't see listed here, but it's the committee. The committee agreed upon as Clive was just talking about snowflake hands. The new Tudor presidents, whatever they're calling it.
We talked about that like a month ago or 2 months ago. The one that got released for the Asian market, right?
Yeah.
No, in Europe, are they calling it the Royale with cheese?
I don't know. You'd have to check. But yeah, no, it's a very interesting. It's a whole collection. They're very well priced. I can find the link for it. There was Watches by SGX did an article about them. I have to find it.
That's an awesome looking piece. That's a Zelos. That's cool.
That's a nice one.
It has a nice 70s vibe to it.
Yeah, with the square subdials.
Yeah, that's a nice Zealous. Square chronos.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty big.
Wow, that's...
helium escape valve on that one as well, yeah.
That's one downside to these diving chronos. They tend to make them like 17 millimeters or thicker.
Well, this one is 18 and a half.
Yeah, with the dome crystal and everything, they're going balls to the wall, full on. I mean, look at it. Holy cow.
But I'll tell you
if
something.
If you want to knock somebody out, use that.
It actually wears real well. It's very comfortable because of the short lug.
Yeah,
it's a very comfortable watch. I really,
I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear Tim Mosso see how it slips under a cuff.
Fits a 12 centimeter wrist comfortably.
I'm not going to slip under a cuff with a cuff link.
Yeah,
I enjoy Tim's videos, but I don't think he'd wear this one.
So we've got one more link from NS something, have we, Zippo? We've got
oh yeah, that was the Swatch.
Swatch one.
Do we want to go back to that?
Well, did we show it?
Briefly.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
You gotta love the swatches.
Yeah, I mean
they're classics, weren't they, from the 80s? I think a lot of us have grown up with swatches. I mean, I did, and
look, I have to say, Swatch is one of the, people like to talk about icons in wristwatches. Yeah. I think the Swatch, this case, the classic Swatch case, is one of the most iconic watches there is out there. If you were to show any of these watches and remove everything that's on the dial, right, just the brand name, everything, everybody's going to tell you, oh yeah, that's a Swatch.
That's correct.
Yeah, very recognizable, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many
swatches I've actually
made over the years.
And I actually like the photograph with it. That's great advertising. Are you not?
Just heard like 6 conversations going on at once there. That was cool.
Sorry about that.
Are you not like that photograph right there?
Clive, you're very spotty right there.
You're breaking up.
Are you
Clive.
not terribly attractive but want to appear confident? Buy a Swatch.
Yeah.
I remember growing up I was a young man in the 80s. And
any better?
I was a young man in the 80s, and Swatch was just coming out, and I've never owned one. I've never even thought about owning one.
Gee. I mean, I was born in the 90s, and my first watch was this little Swatch with a rotating bezel. It was amazing. It was like yellow and navy blue. It was the business.
They're really cool for. I'll say this about Swatch. I mean, I like Swatch. I've owned a few. They're really good for kids if you want to get kids into watches.
Absolutely, yeah. And
their kids brand Flick Flack. What's really really cool is when you open the case, it comes with. They have the manual that folds out, and it comes with a bunch of activities to teach kids how to tell time with an analog watch.
Swatch is almost like the Apple Watch of its time, in a way.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. I mean, they came out as a fashion watch with multiple colors variations, and they were a real fashion watch and a fashion accessory. They took the watch from just being a watch to a fashion accessory. They were one of the first watches to do that, I think.
And Jean-Claude Beaver also said, for him, what Swatch did, what they did was when they came on the scene, they were the Swiss watch for everyone, right? It just wasn't for rich people or a watch that you buy and you keep for a long time. They came out with a watch that anybody could own. Multiple.
They were a little bit too
Step one, come up with a Swiss
MTV
watch
for
for
me back then. I just all the MTV stars wearing them, and it just I don't know, turned me off. I never considered it. Maybe I should.
You got to wonder about the. You got to wonder about the long-term business plan. Number one, come up with a Swiss watch for everyone. Number two, buy Vacheron Constantin.
Yeah, like Orange Hand says, Swatch popularized watch collecting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And,
let's not forget it saved the industry as well.
Yep.
I mean, you get stories of guys who've lived their lives wearing a Rolex, and then when Swatch came around, they put the Rolexes aside because they needed to be serviced, and they would wear these day to day. So they just did the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think most watch collectors over the years have got, even if you watch some of the Houdinki stories, have got a Swatch in their collection.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to see the manufacturing. Like, are they all entirely robotic, essentially?
Yeah, molded, I would have thought. Plastic molded.
Well, I would think so, right? Even their System 51 is all made by a robot. So I would
first. I mean, that's pretty special. I mean, the first automatic to really be fully machine assembled. That's not really special, but it's pretty fascinating to get that kind of.
I've got the 51 and the James Bond collection.
Nice.
They're a little small, aren't they?
They actually make some huge watches now. That's the really cool thing about a lot of their models. Not all, but a lot of their models, you can get them like from really, really small up to like 41, 42 millimeters and even bigger. They have this bold collection where all the watches are huge. So a lot of the watches, you can get the same one in a bunch of different case sizes.
Because 42 is about my 42, 43 is my sweet spot. That's where my wrist seems happiest.
That leaves a lot of room for flexibility. Then, if 43 is your sweet spot, because you can go a bit larger to up to 45. You can go smaller to 40. I mean,
or all the way up to 50.
That's a great speed.
No. Biggest watch I have is 46, and I love the watch, but I wear it infrequently because it looks a little bit too much. But I have some 40s look really good. I have some 40s that don't. I mean, it sort of depends on the case and the lug design, really, what looks good to my eye. But
lug to lug is very important on a watch.
Because I got the Zelos. I keep saying Zelos. I'm sorry, guys. It's in my nature.
Are you getting paid
I have one
advertising for this? So
yeah. No, I get no money. Trust me.
Well, you are Mr. Zelos, Dane.
And welcome.
Welcome, Bruce.
Yeah, welcome, Bruce. Hi,
sorry,
Dane.
I'm late, everybody. Sorry,
That's
I'm late.
okay.
I'll get Kennedy fined for that.
I have one of the Novas that's a 38, but the case size is like really broad across the wrist, so that it's really big lug to lug. So it's a 38 that wears like a 41, and it saved the watch for me because I sort of bought it on faith.
So
but then again, I have a lot of faith with Zelos. So
was there anything else left, NS? Was there another?
No,
item?
I think I've bothered you guys long enough. I think we can move on.
I had a watch.
That's some great stuff there.
Yeah, some great stuff. I had a watch in the bottom of the chat for you, Zippo. I've got
it's not a squaley, is it?
Couple of links. No, it's not.
Thank God.
I'm so sorry I missed all the fun yesterday.
It was bad, but it was good. It was bad. It was good. But Squalified.
Yeah, you haven't heard, Bruce, but ID Guide's actually taken on a new job to design new watches for Squaley.
Yeah, they actually reached out to me and they said, "We're so sorry you were disappointed, and we're gonna help you out."
And he started up the Facebook group about the Squaley Club with TGV.
Yeah,
and he's redesigned the what do you call it? The memorabilia for the new Hugo dinosaur.
Very nice. So now your danger word ID guy is going to be squaley.
No, we're gonna instead of foobar, we're gonna call it squaley from now on as the way to say that something's going pear shaped.
But seriously, at this point, ID guy, you have like a pretty big following, maybe bigger than TGU.
Well, he lost a few overnight.
Yeah, I did.
You should try to steal that sponsorship from him, right? Here.
And my philosophy is I will only spruik a brand if I wear them, if I wear their watches. I think that's a pretty good way to start the ball rolling, at least. But for sure, I mean, hell, Squale, if you're watching, let's chat.
I think you've done your dash with Squally, mate.
Yeah, I think I've kind of ruined that friendship. But what was I?
You burned that bridge even before you crossed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. Nobody likes Squale here, or are we just having?
What happened was there was just this culmination of all the years of events of a certain video called Something Fishy Squale Unboxing, and it all just played in my head as I was talking. It was 3 hours into the show. I was exhausted, and then I just couldn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes, and I just couldn't control it.
It was prodded by about 50 people in the chat, but anyway.
Yeah. I was crying. It was really funny, but
yeah,
I just think they're. I think they're a good watch. I think, but they're overpriced. I think they really should be in the $300 to $400 price bracket when you compare it with other micro brands on the market.
Such as, I presume, Zealous.
Yeah, so in the early 60s, Yema started work on a professional dive watch project designed for the general public, and in 1963 they launched the very first 990 feet water-resistant non-military dive watch, which was something revolutionary at that time, hence the nickname Superman. And the Superman Heritage 63 limited edition pays tribute to the historic model by recreating the original design and professional diving features, which have now become essential on most diving watches, like the screw-down crown guards, and Yema's proprietary bezel lock system, designed as a triple safety when underwater, and which made the Superman a unique diver back in the 60s. The watch also features the iconic shovel seconds hand on the Superman, and the skin diver engraving on the back pays tribute to Yema's first dive watches from the 50s, which inspired the creation of the Superman 63 dial. Now, I wanted to bring this up because I know the ID guy's been falling with his aura.
Torture. I'm just being tortured left, right, and center by all you guys.
I know that you've been falling in love with your Aura 65 recently.
I totally want to get one of these.
I thought that this looked extremely like the Aura 65.
Yeah,
and now I want one.
65, yep.
Now I want one.
Collector's edition of 1,000 pieces. It's $1,199, and there's a free Yema watch roll offered until the end of September. So a couple of days to order your watch and get one of those. It's 39 or 41 millimeters wide with a 13 millimeters thick, 300 water resistant, 30 hours power reserve. It's got the bezel lock system at 3 o'clock, and it's a Solita 200-1.
I think it's so cool. I really dig it, as is probably evident. I must say the whole aesthetic of those numerals inside in that negative space. I think it's just so funky. It just sings.
It's a French brand.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Yeah. Just reminded me of your Diver 65. That I wanted to get your take on it.
My take, I must say it's fantastic. I think it looks bloody gorgeous. It reminds me of my Oris. I think that I stole this Oris, and I would absolutely pick up one of these. I think the aesthetic is just ingrained in my DNA at this point. Also, I just love the bezel. Look how small it is. It's fantastic.
What do you think about the date on that one?
That's the one element that divides opinion. But since it's a tribute to a 63, I mean, that's how they came. It's good to see that they're actually staying true to. Would it have been like 36 mils back then? I would imagine.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
Yep.
But I just think, and the whole way the bezel works with the locking mechanism around the crown, and it's just fun.
And I like
very
the
Panerai-ish.
Yeah.
I like the traffic light second hand.
Yeah. Fun.
Very interesting.
Can you get it with no date though? No.
Doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. No, not this model, not this limited edition.
Dig it. Thanks for that, Thomas. I just saw one the other day and thought, wow, this is crazy. I think a comment on the review video mentioned this, and I was pretty mind blown that they've just brought these out.
It's a beautiful watch.
Somebody just used a term I never heard before: traffic light secondhand.
Yeah, it's got a little red dot on the ball.
I'm sorry, I'm relatively new to this. I've only been doing this like 3 or 4 years now.
Don't worry.
It's a retro thing.
Yeah, if you can get a close up of the secondhand Zippo, I don't know if
I
it's there
got it.
somewhere.
You got it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. So cool.
I learned something new today. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you joined us, Dane. It's nice
watch.
having you here.
I appreciate that. You know, I got to keep learning in this stuff. That's
what it's all about. It's all about learning.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'd like to learn about is pocket watches, because I'd like to buy one someday, but I know nothing about them.
Clive is quite the enthusiast.
Who? What?
The Wrangler, the watch, the rancher, the Wrangler. I think he's still here with us.
So yeah, I've looked at them from it. I mean, I have a passing interest in them. I wouldn't call myself any area of expertise. Actually, I don't have any areas of expertise just in general, frankly. So
I went through a phase of pocket watch conversions to wristwatches.
Nice.
Right.
Junie Johnson saying Yema is a brand he believes it's a very
Breakout.
thing. They're designed to
Yeah, you're breaking up.
manufactured in France.
You had full on robot voice, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. Junior says Yem is a brand I don't trust. I believe that they have very deceptive marketing. They say designed, developed, and assembled in France. I'm not sure they're manufactured in France.
Well, I think it's assembly, right? So for sure, a lot of these companies, you have to understand, they'll get the movement and pretty much all the parts. They'll get the bracelet fully assembled, and then they're just putting it together.
I mean, Swiss made. You have to be like what 51%, something like that. 51% of the parts have to be made.
I think it's now 60.
Yeah.
I think it's 60%.
It's.
But I'm pretty sure it's not the Superman, but another model that they have out has an in-house movement.
Yeah, the graph.
The autograph, something dark.
Autograph, yes, that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that has an in-house movement that they developed. I mean, it's still based on 2824 architecture, but it's an in-house movement.
I just find these watches so inspiring, you know, for what I do. I get a kick out of looking at them and thinking more about just what were they smoking back then. And I love it. I think it's just so fun that way. You get to see how the dials are arranged. I mean, seeing these tech drawings and everything, it's just fantastic. I really enjoy them.
You know, the retro look is something that I really like a lot.
And it's returning. I mean, it's returning.
It is,
so many different micro brands and models now as well.
You'll be happy to know, by the way, blue shirt. I've been wearing the Explorer all week. Did a review video. It's been edited. It's all ready to go next week. I haven't been looking at the watch at all. It's been on the wrist, but I haven't been thinking about it. And today, all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there on the couch and I look at it and I say, "This is such a beautiful watch."
It is.
For the first time, it just snapped. It hit me.
I knew it would take a little while, but I knew you would. It would just.
Wearing
hit you because it does the same thing with me. I forget about the watch, and then I'm like, you know what? I need to wear my Explorer, and then I put it on, and then I sit down and I look at it. I'm like, no, that's why I fell in love with that watch.
This is a beautiful watch. It fits perfectly. There's just no denying. It's crazy. God, what are you guys doing to me, Mark? At last, he says.
From Yema, from one French brand to another French brand in the next link, Zippo, we got the Serica 4512, which is they're based in Paris, the Serica, and this is a World War II inspired design. And orders have just gone live for this watch recently. The watch was conceived with the same principles as Dirty Dozen watches, to be easy to wear, easy to use, and capable of withstanding the rigors of physical activity, and even don the letters WWW, which is wristwatch waterproof, accordingly on the back. There are 3 dial variations of the 4512: the California dial, the Commando, and the WMB. The Commando, which is in the middle, has an open minute track, and has while the WMB on the right has a railroad track chapter ring with loom dots. All feature squat broad arrow hand and a long sword minute hand. The bonk-lip bracelet, as it's called, is a big selling point of the watch, which is very distinctive. It's meant to be exceptionally comfortable. It's fixed to the watch's case with steel tube end pieces rather than solid end links. This has thin links that move freely between the connection points. A hooked end clips onto the wrist. This style of razor has its roots in the late 20s and was found on a variety of RAF and British military watches from the 40s through to the 60s. When the patent expired in the 50s, a few manufacturers developed their own versions, including Gay Frères and JB Champion.
Yeah, they're very hard. They've been very hard to source up until now. They're starting to be recreated again.
It's like the Breitling chronomat.
Yeah.
So
the watch and the bracelet makes this watch. I mean, the circuit's been around for a while now, but the bracelet absolutely makes this watch.
Yeah, it's 37.7 millimeters. It's $650 this watch, which I thought was very good. It's using an STP 1.1-11 movement,
which is such an underrated movement. People have
5 hours power reserve.
Yeah, it's a good movement, James.
Yeah, excellent movement. I mean, people what turn off ETA and everybody's gone to Sellita. Sellita are bumping up their prices to use their movements because the micro brands need them now. Everybody's overlooked the STP for a while now, but that's what's in the Zodiac Seawolves.
Yeah, that's also what Sartori Biard uses in his watches. STP is interesting because they're another ETA clone, right? But they're from STP is Fossils.
Correct.
In-house movement maker. Yep. And a lot of people look down on Fossil sometimes, but they're one of the world's biggest watchmakers these days on volume. So
that's correct.
Yeah.
And you can, and that's the one good thing which we've learned is that the STP movement, they're very flexible. What you can do with them if you're using them, you can actually decorate them. You can work with them in a different capacity to the other movement makers. So they're very flexible in how you work with them. So, and as far as putting them onto a telegraph, and they're very extremely reliable movement. In fact, we did a watch recently with their movement, and it was absolutely perfect.
Good to know.
So
interesting.
And more, I think you'll see that with what's been going on, as you've seen with ETA and and even Breitling having problems with sourcing their movements, and Sellita bumped their movements up, by $19, and they're going to bump them up by another $38 shortly. At a wholesale level. I mean, you might not think it's a lot of money, but it all adds up
in a large batch. It sure is, yeah.
I think, and people have all started jumping to Myotas, Myotas, which is once again a good movement. I'm still a big fan for micro brands to work with the NH movements, but nobody's still thinking down the path of STP, and that, as you just said, I mean, Fossil, Zodiac are using STP, and they're one of the biggest movement manufacturers in the world.
Yep.
And just another little nod to ID guy here. I wanted to reference you with this watch again.
Yeah, inspirations are amazing.
We had the Yema, which was a bit like your Oris, and I thought these hands reminded me of your
Seamaster 57, broad arrows.
Seamaster 57, yeah.
I mean, everything. We have IWC Mark 11 inspirations. We have Smith's W10 inspirations, broad arrow hands. And also the 24-hour dial from Benris's. You can just see how they've cross-pollinated all the California dials from Panerais and other pieces.
What is the price?
Pollinated all of these designs together and just try to.
So now you see what the ID guy does. He's been moonlighting on the side as well.
This is William Brown Project reached out to me and they said, yes, be our designer. And I said, yeah, no problem. Just buy me a house. They said, no problem. And we're sorted now.
ID guy is really driving around the brand new GT3 RSR.
I love it. It's black. It's really
I really like those broad arrow hands. Really
I
like
love
that
them.
a lot.
Love them. Yeah.
Okay, but what's the price on them?
$650.
Okay,
$650.
pretty decent.
American.
I really hate to rain on this parade, but right now it's not going to be this way for much longer. It's still possible to go out
And buy field watches.
and buy the real thing.
Yeah.
So it's a homage watch. You can actually get one of those worn by the greatest generation that brought down Nazism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, Clive. Very
True. I
good
mean,
point.
it's especially in the States. I mean, just Benrus in general, you can find Vietnam era hand wounds for crazy good prices, whether they're military issue, whether they're civilian. They're all over the place there. In the UK, it's
And
more
the Benrus is a great watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Brothers too.
while I totally agree with that, Clyde, I think that's a different market, right? You need to know about watches. You need to be an enthusiast to buy those. I think
the flesh.
Yeah, the really cool thing about brands like these is I think at the end of the day, they bring people into the hobby, right? And once they get something like this, or they get like a Hamilton khaki or something, then they can turn around and say, you know what? I'm going to get the real thing, and I'm going to get an old field watch or a pocket watch or something, and then move on. That's definitely, these watches, as cool as they are, they're definitely not necessarily aimed at us. But I think it's better having this bring somebody into the hobby than, like an ERA tourbillon watch. Right. So I think it's a cool watch for what it is.
Yeah.
You don't like the EAR tourbillon, Ross, Dennis?
No, look, it's what I don't like about that movement, and they have a follow-up movement, which is kind of like a jump hour type of thing.
Yeah, no.
What I don't like about these couple of watches is that they're now everybody uses them on Kickstarter, and everybody makes watches that are so overpriced with those movements, right? Because we talk about, well, is this a good deal for $650? Is like an ERA tourbillon at $1,000 a good watch, or something else at $1,500? When I think you can get a really good watch that doesn't come with like a $15 movement in it. So that's what I don't like about those watches. It's all over the place now. So.
I mean, the good thing about these watches is that you can, just go out and wear them, and they have the military cues. I mean, I have an Elgin A11 from World War II, and I love it. But number one, I don't wear it much because, it's
a bit fragile.
It's fragile. It's 70 plus years old. And I'll be honest with you, it's small. I got a bigger wrist, and it's small. I would love it. I'll never get rid of it out of my collection.
Well, these are 37.7 millimeters, so these are quite small too.
Size.
These are a little small too. Yeah.
So
In the World War II watches, they're not going to be out there. They used to be plentiful, cheap stuff.
Yeah.
They're going.
They are.
You got to imagine that was the sort of thing that you'd find in an antique shop, and it would be the military collectors grabbing them.
Yeah.
Before watch collectors. And then,
it's crazy. One of the big pieces here in the UK is the W10, the Smith's W10, and hell, they're going for like nearly $2,000 all of a sudden. Some are in amazing condition, but still, I mean, we're talking. This is pounds, pound sterling.
Well,
so that's like $3,000 US.
That's a lot of money.
It is,
what's happened to watches is the same thing that happened to musical instruments and other sort of markets out there. Now, every antique shop owner, every watchmaker, everybody has their laptop on their counter. They're all going on Chrono 24. There's no more of these, although Orange Hand has found quite a few amazing deals. My hats off to him. But there's less and less people selling these things that don't know what they have anymore, right? They usually know what they have and they ask good money for them.
My daughter's the same in Paris. I mean, they don't use things like Gumtree or Craigslist or any of these other types of vehicles to sell things, and she gets onto the second-hand shops and the deceased estates and the auctions, and she's first to grab anything that comes in because they don't know anything about the watches, and she does, and she grabs them.
Yep.
Cash.
Yeah.
And pays spotters fees, referral
That's the
fees,
way,
whatever
yeah.
it takes.
Yep.
And because they don't really, because these businesses in Paris barely even have a website. They rely on Instagram or Facebook pages.
Crazy.
Or there's one, they're just not. We've got like a lot of ones over here, like senior citizens. They could care less about the internet.
Yep.
That's correct.
Those are the places you want to look.
I mean, I saw an Antique Rogue show clip the other day, and this lady brought in a mint. What is it? The mill sub, a mint mill sub from her husband, and she had no idea what it was, no idea. And of course, the guy gave her a very low price for what the watch is actually worth, just so that she, wasn't being followed after the show. I think they would pull her aside at the end and say, privately, this watch could buy you a house, no problem. But it just happens. You see it all the time.
Meg jumped on a plane to Amsterdam the other day, and these people have been offered from Amsterdam, whatever they're called, Amsterdam vintage watches, had been lowballed on some watches from a deceased estate. She jumped on a plane with cash and went and saw the people had tea and worked the magic. She paid more than what they'd offered her, substantially more actually. It still was a fair deal, but it was a deal where she could make a substantial amount of money, and she walked out with the watches.
Slick.
Very good.
And she ended up selling the watches to the same people that Amsterdam watches had lined up in the States.
Wow.
So
I got lucky once with a guy who posted something. He didn't even post. It was a Hamilton, so nothing too, extravagant. But the guy didn't even post the Hamilton name. He posted Valjoux 7750 as the title, and he didn't really know exactly what it was.
It happens more often than we think. I mean, like a guy that I met on Saturday last weekend, picked up an 18-karat Royal Oak. Granted, it's a quartz, but they didn't know what they were dealing with, and this watch is absolutely mint. It's an incredible watch.
It's rare. The quartz are rare to find.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness! And
How much did you pay for it?
I think it was in pound sterling. It was about £6,500. I don't know what that would be in dollars.
That's a bit expensive, or in euro. Yeah,
it's solid.
They usually go for about. Yeah, they usually go. That's a lot.
Going on to the next watch I had lined up for you, Zippo, which was one from Garrick, which one of these also appeared in your wristwatch week last night, ID guy.
You're kidding me. Am I just a topic of conversation? Am I the...
we gave you a break on that one.
This is the Garrick Halograph. It's a Garrick signature display, and halo hands float over the numerals to encircle the time, and the inner arcs display the hours.
And you get $10
And the outer arcs display the minute. As the halo reaches the end of its track, a new halo appears on the opposite side, similar to a retrograde display. Two secondary displays are integrated into the movement grille, the day-night window on the left, and the running second display on the right. These features are printed on transparent discs for an unobstructed view of the large open balance wheel. And this is a 46mm, 13mm thick, 42-hour power reserve. It's was $500, but is now $469.
That's a huge discount.
It uses a Miyota 8257 self-winding movement with 42-hour power reserve. It's a retrograde style halo hands with minute hands. And it's a Horween leather strap from the USA. So it's this was just one of the versions with a wooden, I think rosewood limited edition.
The owner who sent this in said to me, it didn't say that. It's only worn it twice. That's his biggest regret. That he only wore it twice. Once when he bought it, and now when he took the photo of the watch. The watch just doesn't speak to him at all. He got it off Kickstarter, and it's just, it's one of those watches that just kicks around on the floor.
This is a watch for the geekiest of geeks.
I really like this. I thought it's going to be a watch that you have to stop to look at and really check the time on. But
correct. It's not a quick glance and
it's
what
interesting
time
watch
it
if
is.
you're sitting there and you want to watch a movement and time in seconds.
It's a real geek's watch. It's a real watch geek's watch, and.
Let's be honest. You put MB&F on the dial, and it'll be accepted.
Right.
It's funny, right?
We could print that on the dial. We could put MB&F on it.
Yeah.
Or squaley if you like.
Ooh. Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
And I can get as many of these as you want for about $200 if anybody wants one.
You guys are never gonna let this go.
No, never.
The watch broke me. I was in tears even after the show. I was laughing so much. It was so bad, guys.
From now on, the safe word is
squaley.
you have to release a blooper reel of that because I'd love to see that again. I'm so angry I missed it yesterday.
Yeah, the worst thing is I've tried to cut it out. So last night when I did cut the segment out of the show, the processing has now actually completely blocked me for even looking at the damn video. So I'm sitting in the unknown at the moment.
His nose is growing. He doesn't want to release it.
No, I'm being 100% dead serious. Like it's very YouTube and its processing time. You don't know what it does.
It's weird, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like this. Good. It's interesting, I thought. An interesting watch nerds watch.
I think what we should do for the next wristwatch week, guys, is we should all get
just flood me with the damn
ugliest watch we can possibly find and send it in under a different name.
Yeah.
To ID guy and make him. Then we all just make comments.
Oh God.
And we should all. I still think we should all use fake names that start with A. To freak out his viewers, right?
Yeah.
After 4 hours,
all the A's.
Still in the A's. Yeah. People are going to be going in like, what did I get into here?
And everybody has to send a picture of a squaley. So it's one squaley after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next.
He won't put them in if they're all squads. We'll have to send in different watches from different brands.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? How bad it got, guys. I'm actually at a point where I'm considering just banning the word completely from the page. That's how bad it got because I just think of the name and I start, and I'm wondering how bad would it get if it turned out to be that way, where the watches just keep coming in. It's just this perpetual thing.
Yeah, we'll just get on to Jody at Just One More Watch and get him to arrange us from AliExpress 10 Chinese specials,
right?
Like Star Kings and all those things, right?
Yeah. Pagani design.
Yes. We'll send them in, making the most hideous watches, and we'll send them in under A, B's, and C's.
Yeah, you have to modify them yourselves, though. You have to do something like scratch something cool into the crystal, or give them a bit of stylism.
And we'll put on trading gloves, or we'll put him in our garden, in Thomas's garden with his roses, or
Hello Kitty signet ring.
Oh yeah, we'll have to go we'll put a few female hands in there as well or something.
Let me bring up the obvious question. Why don't we do this at Hodinkee instead?
Yes. That travel clock meme still hasn't died off. It's still going.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the travel clock. I don't even know what it is.
It's a work of art. You'll love it.
Halo hands that we've got on this watch. I thought the next watch also has the Halo hands, and is also a Zarek watch, and features a side viewing display that can be viewed as the wearer has their hand on a steering wheel, and twin dials can be used to track your home time and destination time zone. The top of the watch has yet another time zone, a one-handed solo scope, they call it, style display, This hand encircles the hour while pointing to the minutes as it moves along the timing arcs. Designed like a fuel gauge, is the power reserve indicator. And this is the Zurich Leadfoot automatic. Goes for $1,000. Has a Miyota 9130 automatic, 40 hours power reserve, plus 2 Citizen Miyota 5R32 3-hand quartz movement, 2 time zones.
That looks like something that MB&F would do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a couple of brands.
This is actually a really, really cool. I've got this watch, and it's a really cool watch.
Yeah, I'd say it's like an MB&F watch. It's
fuel reserve there. That's awesome. I dig this.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick these up for 500 now.
Did you ever see this one before, NS?
No, I did not. But it's really I've seen other Zurich watches. I've never seen this one. It's really cool. It really is like some of the MB&Fs. Yeah.
It's got that Cartier cloche sort of vibe to it, where the case is done.
Yep.
That's a cool shot.
Only 1 limited editions are left. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the watch.com website. Always says there's 1 remaining or 2 remaining. It's programmed that way.
Okay. That's just the way to scare the customer.
Add it to your cart. It's called FOMO.
Yep.
It's a very scientific term.
Well,
This is actually a really cool watch.
Missing out, but you really can't say it anymore.
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
There was an earlier term called horrified of missing out, but you really can't use that term anymore.
Very unpolitically correct, Clive.
Orange Hand has a good point there. Poor man's artwork.
Yes. I'm pretty sure they make one just like this too, if I remember the style. Yeah, nice looking piece. Also enjoy the chamfers around the case. Very sharp.
Yeah, it's nice.
Where'd you find this one, Thomas? This is you come up with some real good ones.
Looks like a toilet from the side angle.
Zurich website. This one.
I can't unsee it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, I thought.
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's got that MB&F styling at a fraction of the price, but
I'm sorry, Dave.
Very funky. That is very funky.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
That's right.
there's one last one which I had which I haven't looked at in too much detail, which Neo brought to my attention, which was the dot watch.
The dong watch. What's that again?
The Braille watch. It's the Braille watch. It's a dot watch that lets you experience time in a completely new way without sound, just by yourself. It provides direct access to all practical
Nice.
you need.
I've heard of this watch, actually. Yeah.
Time and date, alarm clock, time and stopwatch, even tells time down to the second. And it lets you know who's calling as well. It's
Jeez, I remember seeing this for a design award, and I thought it was Braille. I didn't know it did other things.
yeah, it is Braille.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think it actually won. Didn't it win
Yeah.
the
I think it
on
did.
design award?
Yeah, I think that.
It alerts you to text messages on your smartphone as well, instantly via Braille.
I mean, it's so important. It's so important having this kind of feature for blind users in the world. I mean, think about it. Something that the world doesn't think about, and in this sense,
Right.
when it comes to user interaction,
I
such a
thought that-
basic thing.
I thought that's what Hublot was for.
True.
So it vibrates,
Don't knock Hublot.
it vibrates and displays the name of the caller and on your wrists when you get a text message. So it's a smartwatch with a real difference. Really amazing.
I'm sure we'll see Red Dot Design Award at the very bottom of the post.
Yeah,
Has
I
to be
think
there.
it was a Red Dot Design Award, actually.
Hmm.
How much does this watch go for, I wonder? Is it affordable for most people, or they get a
Has to be.
subsidy or something?
I didn't get a price on it.
It have to be affordable or
It's actually
subsidized.
it's not expensive. It's actually $2.99 US. So
Oh, that's not bad.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, it's
There
very
we go.
important.
We should buy one of these so we can send it in to the ID show.
Yeah, I mean, I would be impressed. I wouldn't be laughing at this compared to the
Now,
Squaley story.
this would be great for awareness.
Yeah,
yeah.
very important.
Like,
I
this
mean,
is the
back in
kind
the
of
day,
thing
back in the day, blind users would just take the crystals off their watches and feel the hands. I mean, this is the way it should be done. There we go.
This is
Award-winning.
Yeah, I thought it would. I've read or heard about this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good to see.
The person who
life.
thought of this, I mean, I hope it's getting market penetration.
That's great. Got an app and everything with it.
The person who thought of that deserves all the success in the world.
Yeah.
Fascinating, isn't it?
it's almost like a medical device.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the mundane railways clock in a way.
Yeah,
Has that same kind of style around it.
Same aesthetic, doesn't it? Apart from the Braille readout.
I wonder if they can put anything, combine it with one of those blind dogs to communicate with the dog as well.
Look, how would the dog read the watch?
You know,
I mean, if a dog does anything and it buzzes them on their wrist or anything.
Take care, Junior Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take it easy, Junior.
Yeah,
See
take it
you,
easy.
Junior.
That's definitely cheaper than getting a minute repeater if you're blind.
yeah, I must say. I mean, it's a couple of grand less. Just a
Yep.
few.
Well, that's certainly an impressive design piece.
Yeah. Dig it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It takes wearable
price-
technology to a complete new level.
That price really puts a lot of the price of a lot of other watches into perspective. You know, if you can do all of that for $2.99.
Absolutely, and they're still making a profit. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yep. Plus,
Imagine
you have
being
to
a blind
design.
guy. Sorry,
Yep.
keep going.
No, I was just going to say. Plus, you have to design the app, everything that goes the whole ecosystem for that watch. It's a big thing.
And maintain the app for the upgrades that come with Android or with iOS.
Orange Hand's comment needs to be highlighted there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's why I was laughing.
Yes.
So imagine being a blind guy.
Yeah. I have to say, Orange Hand, though, you're assuming that he can read his watches. That hasn't been proven. Just putting it out there.
James Con 11. I would hope that somebody would have a helper, a friend.
Yeah, that's one failure path. You got your smartphone there and you can't actually use it. It's kind of ridiculous, right? I know. That's what I find so bizarre with the technology.
That's what Siri's for, isn't it? You press the side of your phone and you talk to Siri.
Hopefully the phone will be able to tell you what's cracking. Yeah. You can only hope.
It must have an interaction with Siri. I mean, it has to have
some kind of voice module inside it. Yeah.
Because Siri, you can set your phone now on the new iOS for Siri to tell you your messages automatically and to read your.
Yep.
I use Siri all the time. Everybody I know uses Siri for text and for everything. So it's an automatic feature which we use. So I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, open Pornhub.
Hey guys, I got
all the secrets.
And I got Archie up. That's good.
I gotta go, guys. Been a very interesting, a lot of fun.
Yeah, good.
Yep. Yeah, good.
You're welcome
Thanks for
anytime,
joining.
Dan.
Yeah, thanks for coming along.
Thanks
Yeah,
for joining
nice
us.
having you. Nice
Appreciate
having you.
I appreciate you letting me in. Look forward to next. You do these weekly?
We do every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And just before you go, Dane, please everybody check out Dane's channel. It's Celine Driver. He does live chats. He does watch reviews. He's got a great channel. He talks a lot of college football for those who are so inclined. Check out his channel. Subscribe. And he does rants too.
And talks about Zealous.
He is Mr. Zealous.
I know.
So please, it's Celine Driver is his channel. Dane's a great guy, and he does a great job.
Well, thank you, Mr. Blue Shirt. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All right, I'll catch it next week. Since I don't watch the No Fun League anymore, this is perfect.
Very good.
All right,
we'll see you again. Take care.
Good afternoon.
See you later.
I've got a question for you, Blue Shirt.
Yes, sir.
What is football?
It's not what you South Africans and English and Australians play. It's a real man's game.
Okay.
See, us
With
Australians play 3 different types of football.
True. Yeah, the Australian rules football. That's that. I used to watch that
beauty
growing up.
And,
that was,
and we have the rugby as well as the soccer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, rugby's a hell of a sport.
I love it. It's absolute bliss.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I can continue with another topic, which would probably take about another half hour. Or
I got here late to the game, so if you guys just want to wrap it up, that's fine. If you want to continue, I'm game.
I'm game.
I'm game. Yep.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Yeah, I might stick on for a couple more minutes. Sure.
Yeah. Okay then. So. Yeah. Garrick.
Dan had a good comment. Try playing cricket drunk out of your mind in the blazing heat. Been there.
Yep, been there too.
Yeah, that's just that's a game I just can't.
Don't worry, I'm the same. Don't worry, appreciate it.
Yeah,
you play it when you're drunk.
I guess
I can play it, but I can't watch the thing.
It's
so boring.
The blazing heat, and you're wearing wool, and the games go on and on and on and
don't
on.
Get me started. Don't get me started.
If you ever get a chance, try curling drunk. That's a fun one.
Well, but curling is different. Curling is meant to be played while
drunk,
you drink, right? So just for people who don't know curling,
on the ice.
when you go to a curling club here in Canada, they make the clubs so that the bar extends to the ice,
nice.
So that you can actually get your drink and drink as you're playing.
I'm going to do that when I get there. I need to do that as a holiday.
And one of the champions, very quickly, but one of the champions in curling in Canada, very famous guy, used to have a hollow broom because they use a broom with a little straw he could take out, and it was filled with liquor. True story. So he would drink as he played. So it's if you like drinking, it's a serious sport.
When they show it on TV, during the Olympics and stuff, it's just it's awesome because it's an excuse to start drinking really heavily.
Yes,
exactly.
That's what it's for.
Oh, that sounds like such fun, actually, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Thomas. Sorry, we sidetracked you there.
Yeah, just finding these links. We're on to a company called Garrick.
That's like one of the most typical surnames in the UK, I would imagine. It's very one of the very common surnames.
I'll just line up a few more links.
Great looking pieces.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
I love that large balance. I think it's just so impressive. There, that's like
love it.
These are going to be expensive.
I reckon.
Absolutely.
English time machines.
Wow. I
really
haven't not heard of these.
That sounds like some bad marketing there. Time machines, as in what? Take you back.
Yeah, if the English had time machines, they'd still be ruling India.
Yeah, pretty much.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, so Garrick watches. These are founded by David Balesford and Simon McMahon Garrick creates fine British timepieces in its own dedicated facility in Norfolk, in Norwich, Norfolk. The brand renounces mass production techniques, preferring to make limited volumes of watches encompassing a high quotient of hand craftsmanship, and Garrick only produces a maximum of 50 watches per annum. From the outset, the company endeavored to make the most of its components internally, and over the years has succeeded in making an ever-increasing number of parts in-house. For example, the dials, the hands, and a multitude of movement parts of the firm's workshop in Norfolk. The workshop features positive air pressure, ensuring only filtered air enters the production areas, thereby mitigating the risk of dust contamination. The workforce includes several time-served watchmakers. Garrick's production can be described as small scale, and the high quotient of hand craftsmanship prevents serial production from happening. Master watchmaker Craig Baird has trained at Wosteb in Switzerland and has been instrumental in terms of new production development and crafting watches to exacting standards. Each watch is infused with flawless finishing, for example, hand bevel bridges, circular graining, and chatons, all vie for attention of purists. Moreover, bridges and other minuscule components can be frosted, grained, or mirror polished depending on the wishes of the client. Each of the brand's movements feature a Trinity free-sprung balance made of circumet, a non-magnetic alloy exclusive to Garrick. With the index-adjusted balance, the effective length of the hairspring is altered in order to adjust the rate.
Got to say that S2 in the middle, quite a charmer.
Yeah, however, with the free sprung balance, the length of the hairspring remains constant. The rate is changed by altering the movement of inertia by adjusting weighted screws affixed to the balance wheel as required. The benefit of a free sprung balance is that the hairspring breathes more concentrically, aiding precision. Also, the balance is less susceptible to positional influence, enhancing stability. The rate remains consistent over a longer period, necessitating fewer adjustments. Garrick also places weighted screws, which are timing screws, in board, mitigating air turbulence and again augmenting precision. The reason so few brands equip their watches with a free sprung balance is that it takes more time for the watchmaker to regulate the movement. Nevertheless, Garrick feels the superior performance of a free sprung balance justifies additional effort. Garrick also offers a truly bespoke service where clients can express their own character, specifying design details which are important to them. So if you go to the next link, Zippo, that's for the Norfolk watch. And wishing to celebrate Great Britain's rich maritime history, the Norfolk exhibits a traditional aesthetic.
So that Norfolk looks a lot like a Kudoki one.
Yeah.
Well, it's imbued with flourishes of individualistic detail. The brainchild of esteemed freelance designer Michael Holbeck and founder David Balesford. It harnesses many exquisite elements intended to appeal to purists. Each is handmade to order and a current build time of around 2 to 3 weeks.
What?
That's very fast.
Yeah.
Turnaround. 2 to 3 weeks.
The large nameplate is a key feature and is inspired by old instruments that proudly displayed the maker's name on steel or brass plate. The enamel dial, so it's got an enamel dial, this one, which is a type often found on more expensive watches, is tied with Garrick's unique maritime hands, which are shaped have the shape of anchors at the end. The hours and minutes hands have the anchor-like profiles.
You know what's really interesting about this brand is if you go to the shop section, it's their huge range in prices. So they have these models that are in the
attainable
low, the low 4 figures, and then you have like their.
Well, I was going to go through them. Yeah, I was going to go through them.
Yeah, that's
the S3 is like 24,000 pounds.
Yeah,
don't you find it strange when you're looking at the names of these? I find like Norfolk as a name just kind of micro brandy, gimmicky. next
Yeah,
to something like
it's-
next to something like S2, S3, which feels a bit more, power.
And
Well, this
Ennis, before you go on, Thomas, Ennis, have you heard of these guys before?
No, I haven't. This is actually the first time I don't know. Some of their designs seem familiar. I may have seen pictures of those before, but it's the first time I really
Investigated.
see it. Yeah, like the DS2 seems very familiar. I don't know what about that watch seems familiar.
Well,
but,
there's a bit that I'll tell you a bit more about them later on. You'll find
Yep.
out a bit more. Yeah, this one's a 42 millimeter, 12.5 thick. It's got a 22 millimeter lux. It's using a Unitas 6492 base movement, which has been modified. It's 42 hours power reserve, polished steel or thermal blued hands and minute hands, and the sub-seconds at 9 o'clock. So there's 2 versions available, and it's £2,100 excluding VAT, so that's how much it'd be in America, or it's £2,500 in the EU.
All right, so that's about, I don't know, $4,000.
And it's
$4,500
available with a solid case back or with an exhibition case back as well.
Interesting.
How heavily are the movements modified? How close are they to the original ETA?
It's a Unitas. How do the Unitas movement finished at Garrick's exacting standard to say, and I didn't get too much information on how much the movement is modified.
Somebody sleeping.
Now, and the reason why I'm asking is, here's the question for Anna something. And you're right, the Kudoki 1 and the Norfolk made, it almost looked like someone just took it and rotated the is that
The dial.
Is that Vic and a sleeping dog? All right. But,
yeah, so the next one, we move up the price range, and the next one is the regulator. So we'll go from this one, which is the bottom of the barrel one, starting one. We go to the regulator.
Thomas, where did you find these?
Just in looking at British watches.
Gotcha.
Looking at British brands. So the regulator has taken the notion of a regulator and created its very own individual interpretation of the genre. Unlike typical regulators, the Garrick regulator features 3 indications: hours, minutes, and seconds, each delivered off-center on its own unique subdial. Each is handmade to order with a current build time of around 6 to 8 weeks. And regulators have been used for generations as reference clocks for setting other clocks or watches. Typically, the minute hand has enjoyed the greatest prominence on the dial, with the hour hand often presented off-center. The 42mm stainless steel case is available in a choice of frosted, polished, black DLC or grained finishes, and the movement incorporates the Garrick in-house free-sprung balance. The watchmakers also added a new gear train to the existing Shaftesbury movement, and the price of the regulator is 5,800 to 6,600 excluding VAT, or 7,000 to 8,000 including VAT. This is a 42mm, 11.5 thick, and they say 100 meters water resistance, but I wouldn't be taking this anywhere near water. And this has got a 42-hour power reserve. This is the in-house caliber SM001 manual wind. And actually, this is a modified Unitas again, so but with their exclusive gear train.
Did you just
He did.
Mother
Freudian slip.
But yeah, quite an interesting watch.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't understand how they survive only selling 50 pieces a year. I mean, how do they stay in business?
Yeah, what's the profit margin?
Are they laundering money or something?
ID guy, what do you think? What do you think of these?
My face is full of food. I just went for a
Sorry, no worries.
I just went for what I would call a live stream, but I'm back.
Keep eating.
All in all, Looks great. I really dig the asymmetry, the exposed bridge. For the price though, it looks a little bit depending on. I didn't hear about the movements and everything else. But, you're going to kill me and I'll choke on the food.
Anyway, we'll get off the squally and back onto Garrick, and we'll have a look at the S2 timepiece, which is
I think guy is blowing up his new dinosaur Hugo.
Yeah, giant. He's the size of me. He's 6 foot tall.
You taking him to bed tonight or what?
No, he's too big for the bed, I'm afraid. Unfortunately. It's also bright green.
Go on to the next one. We'll go up the price bracket a bit more. Built the old-fashioned way, Garrick is pleased to unveil its latest horological creation, the S2 Central Seconds. This watch pairs a new movement, the caliber UTGO3, with a high quotient of craftsmanship. It represents a pinnacle of Garrick ownership, with the engine-turned dial, applied chapter ring, and faceted lacing hands, all painstakingly crafted in-house. This is also the first Garrick model endowed with a central sweep second display. Each watch is handmade to order, and the current build time is between 8 to 12 weeks on this one. And this goes for $14,985, including VAT.
I mean, I read that sentence there saying all painstakingly crafted in house. I mean, it's like, are they begging for your sympathy in a way? I don't gotta get that at all. That's terrible. Why do you need to say it that way?
What I want to know.
This is 42 millimeters, 10 millimeters thick, and 22 millimeters long.
Beautiful looking watch.
Exhibition case.
I think I prefer the regulator over this though. Previous model.
5 hours power reserve. And it's gold or rhodium plated silver engine turned dial.
Ooh, look at that dial further down.
Steel chapter ring.
Now, what is the UTI movement based upon?
That's a good question. I mean, it's got a very big balance for it to be like an off the shelf movement. I'm sure it is though, but the movement could use
modified off the shelf.
Yeah, could use a little bit more finishing, I find, at least at that price range.
Yeah, I think you're right, NS. Probably.
But then again, we're not talking about travel clocks and those and their finishing. I mean,
yes, the movement in that thing. Let's not even mention it. But
it's a work of art.
Yeah.
I don't think the front's finished that well in terms of the.
Mm-hmm. You know, this brand reminds me of that German brand, Cornell. You know, they do something similar where they modify some ETAs and Unitas movements, and they'll have like engine turning, and they find they're very similar.
Yeah, and there's another German brand. I can't think of them offhand.
Shit.
One was the Portsmouth Zippo.
Sorry, say again.
The next one was the Portsmouth watch.
Okay.
And they say that after the success of the maritime theme, Garrick again partnered with German freelance designer based in Germany, Michael Hallbeck, to bring the Portsmouth watch to reality. The silver, blue, or grey guilloche hands and engine turned in England, and therefore galvanized lacquered. However, clients can choose an alternative dial design incorporating a different engine turn pattern should they wish. A mirror polished hand chamfered balance bridge resides at the base of the dial, and the heart of the Portsmouth is a new hand-wound exclusive Garrick movement designed by eminent watchmaker Andrea Strehler and his company UHR Teal AG, who've worked with H. Moser on their perpetual movement, and with Harry Winston on one of the Opus watches, and with the Chrono Swiss and Maurice Lacroix. And the movement is handcrafted in Garrick's own workshop in Norfolk, and the design of the movement is all its prominent balance bridge is intended to look stereotypically British, they say. The hand-wound UTG1 is frosted polished by hand and features the brand's own Trinity balance. The rim of the balance wheel is made as patented magnetic metal alloy called Circumet and is employed for the first time within the wristwatch. And this one goes for 14,995 excluding VAT or 17,995 with VAT.
Breathtakingly painstaking design.
So that's actually interesting because Andreas Streller is the real thing, right? It's not, they're not just name dropping someone.
Right.
So he's a very very well known movement designer. So that's very interesting. Which is another kind of parallel with Kadoki, right? Getting your movement sort of designed for you by somebody else. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Are these guys anywhere near where you're at in England, Thomas?
No, I'm in the north of England. These are more in the Midlands, in Norwich, Norfolk Broads. So that's where they say they get their maritime influence from, I think. But interesting watches, I thought.
I think so.
As an English brand, I was quite interested in them as a British brand.
Yeah, it's very. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Ernest. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, very interesting, right? They go from Unitas watches to something that's really like an interesting custom movement. They have a huge variation in price. It's interesting. Very, very cool. I don't know. Have they been around for a long time, or?
I think they've only been around about 10 years or so, to be honest with you. I think they started 2016 and they got together with Andreas Streller, I think. And
I just want to say a big hello to my friend Howdy from Texas.
Yeah, howdy.
Hey, howdy.
How howdy.
So the last one that I had from Garrick was the S3 timepiece zipper, and this watch showcases the British brand's vast expertise in hand craftsmanship. The S3 features an open work dial revealing a myriad of components usually hidden from view. The new UT Geo4 caliber encompasses chatons and peerless finishing, including time-consuming black polishing. When Garrick unveiled its S1 model in 2018, it announced to the watch collecting community that the British brand was capable of producing fine watches rich in technical virtue and hand craftsmanship. Building on the success of previous models, Garrick has now created the S3, the company's most technical watch to date. The thermally blued hour track has Roman numerals. The dial also features a small seconds display and power reserve indicator. As with the S1 timepiece, clients can select a discrete nameplate or choose to have a dial side branding. The S1 model features open work dial, which exposes a series of gears and pinions positioned atop the main plate. The S3 is different, however. Its main plate is a new dial featuring a number of recesses which accommodate these gears and pinions that sit flush with the upper main plate surfaces, providing a neater appearance. To do this, Garrick watchmakers revisited each movement component and relocated parts in order to ensure functionality and move the aesthetic allure forward. The changes ultimately led to creation of a new UT Geo4 caliber. The balance is positioned front of house in the lower portion of the dial. The gears and a plethora of other components are made in-house using traditional watchmaking machines such as jig borers and lathes. And this is 24,192 excluding VAT, or 28,000 including VAT. And it's a 42mm, 10mm thick, 48-hour power reserve, and it's pretty wacky looking, skeletonized sort of showy offy piece.
Exactly.
That dial, those Romans remind me of a Zenith Defy. You know, the way the date wheels work in those pieces.
Got a bit of that look about it, hasn't it? Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
24 grand.
Also reminds me a little Breguet-ish too.
The back looks a lot like a tradition.
Yes.
Also, the very stark, simple finishing. It's if you look at the movement, it looks a lot like some Beat Alderman movements as well. Really interesting. I mean,
for 24 grand.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? If this is really a Streller movement, right? You're talking about watches. If you want one of his movements, even though he has, he's contributed some to Moser and other brands, but usually as watches, you're talking about, 5-6 figures watches. So it's kind of interesting to have a watch with a movement that he's worked on. So for that, it would be worth it. But I'd want to see what this goes for on, the gray market, right?
Hardy makes a very good point, saying it's just me, but skeletonized trend is recently cheapened. It feels like it's been cheapened by Kickstarter-esque brands, skeletonizing movements without finishing.
Yep.
And I mean, the same thing with the naming, the Norfolk and the Portsmouth, or whatever they called it, and it feels like a micro brand in that way. It sucks.
Right.
And I love the term S3 because it just feels a bit more, been there. Developmental.
Yeah, I mean, I was just interested because they're a British brand, to be honest with you.
They're beautiful. These are great, I think.
I've been going through a few different British brands, and looking at the different things they have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to see where these guys go. Like, they're a young brand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me.
Well, on the other hand, are you going to wait till everyone else catches on to them and then pay twice as much or 3 times as much?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody ever done that? Got in early on a brand and watched it
take off?
Price? Yeah.
Well, I think James would probably be a good example with the amount of AP offshores that he has in shoeboxes under his bed. He's never even unpackaged before.
Yeah, I think we've all had some success on Rolex, AP, Nautiluses, Aquanauts. So, and also some failures on Hublets, Panerais, Gerard Perregaux.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think in the end that it weighs itself out, doesn't it, Clive?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
there are
for me, I don't flip or see it as an investment. So,
Rusty, yes, he is.
Very much. He's more famous than any of us here.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That my status and $2.75 gets me on the subway. So
you're a rock star, blue shirt.
He is the famous one, aren't you, blue shirt? Yeah.
There are still deals out there. I think if you can still get into some older Mosers for a good price, less now, but it's harder, but you can still do it. I think Kudoki, there still are brands where you can do that. And actually, if you're interested on the subject, in one of his podcasts / YouTube videos, Steve Halleck he did a video, I think maybe end of last year, beginning of this year, and he was talking about the value, the resale value of watches and Rolex versus independents. And he was saying there's people that I always remembered that at some point Philippe Dufour had a ton of difficulty selling his watches, right? And you have people that paid very little for Philippe Dufour watches, and now they're sitting on $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 watches. So,
talking of Steve Halleck, he runs a channel like TikToking or Talking Time or something, right?
TikToking.
He is the most underrated channel on this platform. Holy cow! The stuff that he has on hand, Lungers and everything. It's such a nice archive to look at some really high end pieces in hand.
Well, I also just want to toot our own horn that in an earlier episode we spent almost the entire program going over independent brands. Ennis did a thorough review, including Kadoki, who we just mentioned. They're an interesting brand, and if I had the funds, I would definitely like to get in now before I have a feeling that his watches are really going to take off soon.
Yep, I'd agree with that. I'm not sure they'll be. I don't think they'll ever be like at the Jaune level or something like that. But I think there's definitely he's going to go up a lot, I would say.
So how about watchmakers, like artists, when they die, that's when their pieces become valuable?
Yeah, well, people are saying that about Laurent Ferrier, aren't they? And
that's where I think
George Daniels.
Big one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
George Daniels' pieces are just stupidly priced now. I mean, they're in the millions and the millions and millions. But I mean, he was hell of an influence when you think about his background.
I mean, you're buying Laurent Ferrier now, aren't you, James? You think they're going to be a big thing?
I'm jumping on that train.
Jeez, of all these brands, of all these avant-garde, I actually mentioned it on the chat the other day. Of all the brands, I think Laurent Ferrier, looking at, just saying Assegai hands, I love it. The fact that that's assigned to the brand, that's so cool. I would totally wear one.
James, you're not worried about them in the future as things move along?
No, I think they'll be absorbed by a group or a bunch of private equity guys like myself. Somebody will jump in there and it's like Aston Martin. I mean, somebody will jump in there and grab them.
Longues and Tudors and Poves, oh my!
Sorry,
Longues and Tudors and Poves, oh my!
But I like the brand. I love the design. Love the simplicity of the watches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into FPJ. I never have been.
Mm-hmm. Howdy from Texas. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue, James.
I just think even if the company doesn't survive, I mean, they're going to have parts. Somebody's going to have to take it over.
Right. Yeah.
They plan for that every time they make a production. Parts are planned for years to come. I mean, they're not. So somebody's going to either take over the servicing, the trademark, the patents, or if they go into bankruptcy, somebody's going to the patents are going to drop, and somebody's just going to take them over anyway. There's an opportunity there in any watch company that goes broke. It's like Jean Richards. I mean, it's been filed for bankruptcy 3 times. Eventually, somebody's going to grab that name and reboot it. FP Journer. I mean, that's only been driven by Watchbox. Let's face it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only reason. I mean,
they're also quite the social media darlings now too, I reckon. I mean, you see them
Richard
everywhere.
Well, they'll probably be snatched up by Richmond or Swatch or something. Anyway,
I mean, I don't see the attraction myself. I've bought one for my wife because she liked it. Other than that,
the Resonance is pretty cool. I love that complication story.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Not no, sorry. The Resonance. The Resonance.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't. Well, obviously, the size for me is an issue, but once again, I think the price is severely. I think they're severely overpriced for what they are.
Yeah, I think the aftermarket price for Journe has really gone out of hand. I think what doesn't help with the pricing is that they just don't make a lot every year, right? So if you have a brand like that becomes sort of a hype darling, there aren't that many out there, so the prices all shot up. But it's kind of hard for new collectors, and is that good for a brand, right? If it's a brand that people have a lot of problem getting into, does that do something with the hype? So it's it's interesting to see where they're going to go also.
But you've got these YouTubers who are jumped on the Watchbox bandwagon. Even Kevin O'Leary's and all these guys who are talking about once again watches as investments, which we all know they're not investments; they're luxury items.
Right.
And they're all hyping up FP Journe and Grand Seiko. This is the latest thing. They're paying overinflated prices. They're going on pretend waiting lists, and they're paying too much for the watches, and the market will fall. I mean, economics, when the economy falls, economic falls, luxury items fall, and that's when people start getting rid of their watches. And people like Roman Shafts of this world and all the dealers in Beverly Hills and everywhere else, they start buying these watches for 30% or 40% of what they paid for them, and guys like Clive or myself or any one of you can go and pick them up for half what they paid. That's how the circle works.
Seems like it.
And the Howdy says he thought we only call them investments to convince ourselves and our spouses.
Well, that's true, but I mean, the prices that people are paying for FPJ, I mean, and the hype and the VIP concierge service and everybody, I hear people on YouTube say I've got to wait 8 months for this Havana watch. Ouch. I could get one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just it's ridiculous. It's all overinflated in people's minds.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, look, as far as the investment thing goes, if you should buy watches because you like them, you should buy watches that you can afford, and afford losing money on if something goes bad.
Right.
But I'm really afraid for people that are buying tons of hyped watches at very inflated prices. We're headed for something in the economy, which might not be great. And I wouldn't want to be sitting on,
$30,000 Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and here's the thing, right? Once the dust settles and things start up again, there's no guarantee that the same watches will be the hype watches again.
Right.
Yeah. There's the people used to buy bubble backs and now they're worth nothing.
Hey.
You always mean something to us, Clive. You always mean something.
But yeah, look, at the end of the day, if you're buying well, right, you're buying a Pepsi at retail or you're buying a Daytona at retail, great. You might lose money if, the shit hits the fan or whatever, but great. But if you're buying like a, I've seen people on YouTube realize that their golden, Patek Aquanaut that just lost like $20,000-$30,000 in value, and their eye is going like, ooh, what? Look, things happen, and you wouldn't want to be left hanging. So
I'm very interested in. Sorry, James, go for it.
What about the guy who's just paid $30,000 for a standard Rolex, which retails for $18,000, and he's put on these Amex at 23.95% payable every month?
Yeah.
And he's just lost his job because of COVID-19.
Yeah. That's exactly what I saw. I mean, this is exactly what I saw this last weekend, actually. A guy brings fresh inbox a 116519 LN Daytona. That's the white gold with the rubber strap. And he bought it on his card, didn't pay for it, it's credit, all credit. And he can't pay for the watch at this point. The card is maxed out and he's just sitting now with a watch. And he basically over the course of the night was trying to work out how he could sell it to Joe Soap across the room.
Yeah. And
for a profit.
And always remember, right, if gray dealers are advertising a watch for price X, it doesn't mean that they're going to sell it at that price. And but it does mean that they're certainly not going to give you that price, right?
Yeah.
They need to make money. So, you're buying if you're buying a Daytona at 35, you won't be able to get out of it for 35.
When you're in that position, you've got to work out what your credit card bill is going for the next 12 months, and you've got to cop a $3,000 or $5,000 loss, because in the end, is your credit rating worth it?
Yep.
That's the reality.
There's just a quick question from Barrel and Blue. He says, what do we think of the revived Vertex brand, which we talked about in a previous stream? He was fortunate enough to get an M100 from Don at Vertex, and he's over the moon. He has Rolex Omega Moser, but this is especially unique. And I think Vertex are really making a comeback. They made one of the Dirty Dozen watches. They made some brilliant watches in the past, and the M100, which is on a waiting list. You can only be selected by people who've bought them in the past, and it's a real weird system they've got going, but it's a cracking watch, Barrel and Blue.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I've been in such a place at the moment where I'm looking at these serious brands, Rolex, Omega, all these names, and picking up the Oris. I stole the Oris the other week, Oris 65, and I get more enjoyment out of it than the Explorer that I've been lending over the last couple of days. And it's that kind of thing of just thinking about, are you having fun with the watch that you're wearing? Because I think a lot of these pieces are just too serious in what they try to do, and we deserve a bit of enjoyment in a different area altogether.
You don't hear the word fun enough.
You don't. You really don't.
No.
On that note, guys, I think I better get going. Got
all right.
Some, family commitments.
Good to talk to you.
So take care, guys.
Cheers. Thank you, Anas. Great subjects
James,
today.
Dexter, ID Guy, Blue Shirt, Thomas, everybody in the chat. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you, Enes.
Okay, take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
All right. And just quickly to answer your question, James Con 11, it's always okay to buy watches despite Archie.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, Clive, you have a bad rep with him now, hey? Your OP41, it's the surprise F-off watch of 2020 by the sounds of things.
Well, it's unlike a girl size Calatrava because people actually want it.
Yeah. It's funny.
And you got the racing green, which just looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
Yeah, lovely color. Right, guys, I think we've rinsed it out, haven't we, so far? Is there anything else we want to bring up?
Well, I think there's one thing that we should address.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah, there's one little small thing that's been in the way. This elephant in the room.
Right, and we've saved it till the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, save the best to last.
Exactly.
And it doesn't involve me, thank God.
No, or Squaley.
Yes.
Squaley.
Good. Keep saying that name. I love it.
Thomas, happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday, Thomas.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
birthday,
you, guys.
Thomas.
Congratulations.
Hope you've had a good day, man.
Thank you,
Really do.
everyone. Yeah, it's been great. This is the best part of my birthday, so being with you guys.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good to hear, mate.
Yeah. Being with friends, talking, watching.
To you.
Happy birthday to you.
It's not going to work.
Birthday.
None of us can sing, but it's happy birthday, Thomas.
Good enough.
To you.
And Minotaurs.
Hey, Thomas, how old are you?
Oh,
16 plus.
16 plus.
Okay.
It's
And
not how old he is. It's
what's your location?
I'm in the north of England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thomas is young at heart, still, ain't you, Thomas?
I'm young at heart. Yeah, still young at heart.
He's way younger than me, so
Another year older, but still young at heart. So.
When you get to a certain point of age, like us guys, you start counting backwards.
right.
Isn't that right, Bruce?
Exactly, James. Exactly.
Well,
Enjoy
ID,
your day, my friend.
ID guy's the youngest here.
No, I'm
Right.
not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
It's been a great birthday. I couldn't have wished for a better birthday to have a show with you guys than with my friends and talk watches, and that's
Couldn't
the best
agree
thing to
more.
do.
Yeah,
We
it's
love
great.
you. We really do.
We need to arrange a catch up. We need to get a catch up with us all when this horrid lockdowns are all
Yeah,
over
definitely.
with.
James.
It sounds like we're going into a second round for a lot of us, eh?
Yeah, Paris is getting 16,000 cases a day again. It looks like a second wave. Australia's been hit really hard.
Yeah,
I don't
Australia.
know what's going on in New York, Bruce?
It's fairly quiet here, so thank goodness.
Maybe when this is all over, we could just all fly to Australia, get up, and toilet paper someone's house.
Toilet paper. That's just so.
Stay safe and yeah.
It's all good in Canada still, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, well,
We're missing Showcase tonight, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. I was surprised he wasn't here.
And Neo.
Yeah, Neo.
Yeah.
And Neo. And we haven't had Shot in the Dark on yet.
Yeah, no. We need to
haven't heard
get him
our
on as well.
watches, have we? No.
But,
So
yeah,
give us a thumbs up, everyone, if you can, and that'd be great. It's been great to have you all. Sorry, Clive, I'm interrupting.
Oh, that's right. It's your birthday. You're talking about you're afraid to wear. And here's the thing. You know, my 321, I love that watch. But
It's
there's
an awesome watch.
there's part of me is thinking, you know, if I just click, if I just scratch that bezel, take out that dot over 90, that's like $5,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I've got the 1861. It's won the patina lottery twice because at some point it got ghosted. The bezel got ghosted. The dial got bleached out, and then it got stuck in a door and it yellowed up. And I can throw that one on and just just enjoy the day and not even think twice about it, except occasionally staring down my wrist and admiring it.
Yeah, it's funny. I got an email, and it's quite deep, but the email is basically that this guy lusted after a Rolex Submariner for basically 20 years. Okay, he finally bought one this year, new old stock, and it's a 5-digit reference, and he can't take the stickers off. He can't unbox this thing after all this time, you know. And it's like just wear the thing. I'm going to try and in the video, I'm going to try and think of some kind of analogy, like you're in a restaurant or you're in a coffee shop, and this beautiful lady comes up to you and says, "Hey, let's go for drinks." She invites you out for drinks, and no strings attached. Just go and enjoy some time together. And I'm thinking, well, the watch is there. It's a beautiful lady. It's just asking you to be worn. You know, that's it. That's the divide. And you've got nothing really to lose. So, you know, you only live once. Go for it.
Is the lady in Mille because she's pre-ceramic?
Pre-silicone, yeah. Pre-silicone springs, everything. Yeah, you got it. Love it.
Some parts.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a strange hobby, this, I gotta say.
Certainly is.
Certain things might be a bit loose, shall we say?
Yes. Bezels need tightening.
Certainly an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
So you want to call it at 3 hours there, Flippin'?
Yeah, we can, or if anybody wants to just shoot the shit, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm warming up.
If anybody wants to bail, I gotta take a break.
I know ID guy can just keep right on going.
No, honestly, I would love to bail because after yesterday's 3 hour and the squaley gate.
Yeah,
I'm done for a while.
I think you should do a what do you call it? A squaley video now.
Oh God, I should, right?
Oh, leave him alone.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like getting it kicked out of me, but it was good. I mean, I had such a laugh. Even this morning, waking up, I was still laughing my head off, thinking about how it turned out.
I haven't reposted the video yet.
I was in another room listening, volume cranked, and just hearing you laughing about it for 5 minutes. I was
completely lost.
Sorry, I missed it. I'm so sorry, I missed it.
It's one of those moments where it's like, you know, uncontrollable. There was just nothing I could do. I didn't have a co-host. I couldn't just mute myself and back. There was dead air. I could have actually just stopped the show for 5 minutes and just collected everything. But I was crying. It was very emotional. It was so good. The comments were just 10 times worse. Shy-Town, if you're still in the chat, I really hate you. That was so good.
I think 73 Math as well.
He was good too. That was so much fun. I had such a laugh.
Kurt Arnold, me. I think you copied it from all of us.
Yeah, I had such a laugh. And I don't know if I got. Let me see if Richard replied to my email yet. Fingers crossed. And I feel like we're gonna get a very scathy response too. So no, nothing from him yet. And probably won't ever get anything from him again. I'm sorry, Richard.
And what do you call it? And Thomas was a good boy. He didn't say a word.
Thomas, you should have jumped in as well, man. It was fun. I couldn't take it.
Oh.
I bet Thomas was on the floor laughing his head off.
Yeah, probably.
No, I wasn't. I'm not nasty like you, James.
Yeah. So that's it. Hey,
Thomas, come on, admit it. You were laughing. Thomas has been cracking up, but Thomas is the well-behaved, well-mannered gentleman.
He is. The man, the myth, the legend, Thomas Burnett.
Yeah, behind the scenes, he would have been sitting there. He would have had tears pouring out his eyes.
Popcorn in hand, just going for it. Feet up, throwing his head back.
I didn't see him deleting any messages, by the way. He was the moderator.
No, he was enjoying the show. Oh, it was good. I really had a laugh, must say. I've got to try and control myself in future now. I think I'm going to ban that word. Squaley is the brand that beat me. It literally is the brand that actually beat me.
Well, you know what? We're gonna find another weak spot.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be coming my way. Squaley is pretty good though. It's a good nail in the coffin, I think, as far as brands go.
You should have known when you put that photo up it was going to happen.
Yes, the whole YouTube watch community is just going to go ape over that.
Yeah, I should have.
I mean, with the design background and all, I mean, you saw the photo of the watch. You should
just remember, James. I get like 100 of these things, and I mainly just rename, save. I don't double check prior to the shows.
The watch was horrendously ugly.
Yeah.
That was did that happen where it was you like kind of examining it or somebody pointing it out that it was completely
I pointed it out. Yeah, I said, "Hold on. Wait a second." And then I just started looking at the comments and Eric Bell said, "What the hell is that?" And it just got worse and worse, chuffed to bits, jiggly jangly, and I lost it. I couldn't take it.
Oh, I so wish I would have been there.
But didn't you see the proportions were out when you saw the photo when you got it?
Well, after a while, when I actually had a good look at the indices and the batons and everything, I'm like, what the...
That's what I was trying to find before the indices. I was just still cracking up over the watch. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I can only imagine that it was something like when TGV was on Watchbox, and the rancher and I were leading the charge. It was just every other comment in the live chat was
there was a live
squaley, 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 squaley. 50 people, 100 people, 150 people in there just squaley.
There was a live chat. There was a live chat through that. I had no idea.
Was that when he was with Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that live show. I remember the squally coming up all the time.
It was just the perfect shitstorm because a lot of people, a lot of Watchbox enthusiasts thought that him being brought on diminished Watchbox, and
which it did.
And his own thought he sold out.
Jeez, we should actually have a good look at the watch. Since we might as well. I mean, the cover photo for the show was the pedestrian. I'll find a photo of it, the proper one.
Well, Megan sent it to me this morning.
Of course she did. You guys been ripping into me since like 5 a.m. today.
I think it's your destiny to do it, ID guy.
Yeah, I need to review the damn thing now, right?
No,
Yeah, you really do.
That family page is pretty good.
Where's the good shot of the thing?
It's a squaley tiger diver, Dan Tillerman. That's the model.
Yeah,
no,
and this was a very specific one.
Tiger divers, and
this one was unique.
Tiger divers are not the same as the one that he's got. He's got the vintage one, which is the worst.
Yeah, these are pretty pedestrian, but I think this will work. I'll send you this. It's what you seek. I'll put the link in the chat if possible.
Oof.
No. Yeah, it was rough. I don't know what it was. I cracked. I lost it completely. As Blue Shirt is going, that was me. I don't know how it all turned, but it's one of those moments. 3 hours in, and then suddenly,
right.
I just lost it. I couldn't do it. Couldn't handle. Yeah. We all have those moments. Goes to show, you win some battles, you lose some to squaley. The other day, squaley.
Yeah.
Squaley.
Oh God, that was unbelievable. Okay, so next wristwatch week we gotta all find the ugliest watch we can.
That'll be a good way to circumnavigate watch regrets. The next subject, the ugliest watches you own.
That'd be a good topic, actually, James. The ugliest watch you can find. Yeah.
I got mine. Hydronaut 2. Oof.
Ooh.
Oof.
I haven't seen that.
It's not pretty.
Yeah, you're not going to want to see it, James. It's pretty damn ugly.
I'll be right back.
So now we have to be here because Zippo runs the show, right?
He's going to get his ugliest watch, or he's going to do something else.
Live stream. I think it's
a
live
stream
time,
as in literally.
Yeah. Clive, you're a master at it, right? I mean, you've nailed it. It's an art form at this point for you. It's incredible. It's like a symphony.
Like we did last night when Archie left the stream, we all just bailed.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it was classic.
What, as you actually just left the stream?
We just left the stream, yeah.
It's like, no, let's wait for him to get back first. I was like, oh, that's even better.
Right. So he finally gets back, and we all bailed, except for the doc. The doc stayed on.
And Doc should be there last, right? To end, cap off the show.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then he stayed on with him like another 20 minutes.
And now, Underachieving Watch Collector says, make that squaley your next cover shot for the live stream. Yeah.
Oh, you know what would happen, though? You would have like a very bad, or you would have a terrible audience participation if you did that.
You know, I'm not kidding. I think I lost at least 50 people just from laughing so much at that one point. It was crazy. What's the joke is in real life, 50 people fills a room, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you lose a room full of people online in a flash all of a sudden, and it's whoa, takes you by surprise a bit.
Yeah.
Bloody something fishy. That video.
This relationship never was gonna work out. She was extremely stingy.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, guys. If you,
yes, please do.
If you like the show, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. That'd be great.
Yeah, this was a good chat.
Yeah, we're slowly starting to creep up there. I think we're at 220 something, 224. So.
And don't forget, you can also join the stream if you feel like it. If you've got any watch stories to tell us or watches to show us, you're welcome on the stream any week. And you can join us and tell us about your watches and your collections and your experiences in the collecting community.
I tell you, that soundboard just makes you grow.
Oh, and that's nothing. Believe you me, it's we could literally do a whole entire show.
You know what?
Without Archie being there at all.
I play those over and over, and I just can't get enough of them.
Mm.
I mean, it's just quintessential. What's wrong with the guy? And he has no clue. Let me get it back up here.
The last few days, I just can't stop laughing at things. Just the stupidest things. It's all of a sudden the seriousness is gone and everything is just hilarious to me. Whatever. Could be the most ridiculous thing.
You know what, ID guy? It just proves that you're human just like the rest of us.
I guess so. Huh?
Do you guys do 3-hour streams on Archie channel?
No, I don't think so.
No way.
Oh, that'd be
Thinking
brutal.
fast.
That would be
Thinking
brutal.
fast.
Yeah, that's cruel and unhuman punishment.
Would that be a threat? That'd be a threat? Wouldn't people just pay to shut it down?
Basically,
I'm sure they have.
The super chatting $50 to end it.
Yeah.
There you go. I'd gladly take it.
Who does the e-begging now?
I mean, Clive was the number one. He was
Clive's the big money draw.
He's the money drop guy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But Blue Shirt, you're the new celebrity, Blue Shirt.
No. Yeah, celebrity, right?
Yeah, full on.
Nobody draws in the big bucks like the rancher.
The rancher's the entertainer. He's the Don Rickles. Blue Shirt is the telethon. Ed McMahon.
Hey now.
Well, you do a great job. I mean, and then rancher just had me.
Thank you.
Are you guys on commission or what?
Surely.
Yeah, right.
Can't be taking
there it is. There it is. I don't think it was a blue dial though. It was a matte dial yesterday.
Okay.
But if you scroll further down, there's some more pictures. And it's not a particularly awful looking thing. It's just I lost it. I couldn't control myself.
That's it.
Look at the indices. Look at the dial. The bezel.
Looks like a buzz stock.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
With a red button to escape Russia.
And it's the double it's the double logo. I don't understand why they have double logos on their watches. It just doesn't make sense.
Squally.
Look how big those indices are at the top compared to the bottom.
Maybe Orange Hand would like one.
I think if he's still here, I think he was chatting about it last night. Starting to cry again.
What's the red button?
Is that a bezel lock?
Yeah, it's ratcheting bezel. Yeah. So what happened? I even looked up the history of this watch. So basically, the Ploprof came out in the 70s, and it was this big revolutionary thing. And this is their way of spoofing the Ploprof their own way. Technically, functionally speaking, that lock for the bezel is actually in a better place. That ratchet button.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually turn the bezel easier, but that dial.
When I see that, I don't think Ploprof. I think plop.
I had a look at them on Chrono 24 with the girls,
and they're expensive.
Actually selling quite expensively.
So is that what happens when they don't bring home the right grades? I guess.
Yeah, that's a good question, James Kahn. Why are the indices different sizes?
Well, according to the owner, when he was getting upset towards the end of the stream, it was for different viewing angles.
Yeah, that's the idea. So when you're diving, you could view it offset, but then Eric kind of shut that down pretty quickly, I think, because he owns and wears all dive watches, and he was saying, "What the actual is that thing?" I just lost it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't read the chat. I couldn't read the comments.
If you put your watch on upside down, you're dead.
Yeah. So
I think the guy was actually quite proud of the watch.
No, he was in his email as well. He believes he feels it is a better design than the Ploprof.
Okay.
And I mean, to his own taste, the last thing he submitted was this gorgeous Panerai, and I don't know what this came from, but whew.
I don't think he'll ever wear it in public again.
That's the worst part. I hope that we haven't like completely ruined the experience for him. I really hope.
Well,
I mean, that was bad.
If we ever see his wrist shot on Chrono 24, we'll know he's trying to sell it.
Yeah, we'll just eBay. Keep a good look.
Anyway, on this note, I think I'm gonna
hitting the hay.
I'm gonna go and get some dinner. Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness. Right, Thomas, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you very much, Blue Shirt. Yeah,
happy
all the
birthday,
guys.
Thomas.
Blue Shirt.
What time did we arrange for the surprise for Thomas, guys?
In 5 minutes, almost.
ID Guy, Rancher, Zippo. Thanks everyone. It's been a great stream, and thumbs up everyone if you can, please. And yeah, it's
Thank you, everyone
Dunno.
in the chat. Thank
See you guys. See you, Thomas. Have a great birthday, mate.
Thank you.
Big thank you to James and ID Guy and the Rancher and Lexter Dexter.
Big shout out to James Squaley, Arthur. Sorry.
Yes.
Gotta say that really does ring.
I'll change it to. I'm gonna lobby all my mates to send him Boz stock photos next time for you.
Oh my god. I think Tiger Shark. I think I need to come up with a Tiger Shark design now as the next step forward.
Nice.
It needs to happen.
So we'll be back at the same time next week, guys. And we'll see you then.
Take care,
See you later,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye.
See you, Junior Johnson.
Yeah.
Cheers, gents.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.